What's up, everybody, and welcome to TEC. That's the esport company, and we've got you Division 1, Week 3 Rocket League. I'm Panda, and with me is Hot Sauce. If you were catching the stream yesterday, they might look a little familiar. How's it going, Hot Sauce? How you feeling? You get any sleep yesterday?
Oh yeah. Feeling great. Excited to be back here as always. I really enjoy Rocket League. I've done a lot of Valorant for TEC. So excited to be in the booth here with you, Panda, casting some Rocket League. As you had mentioned, we got a couple exciting games coming up here. I know Berlin Brothers Valley taking on Forest Hills first. And I know you're a little more experienced here. You've been here a little longer than I have. So I'll let you hit me with a stack of knowledge here.
Yeah, well, last week, Berlin Brothers came off a bye in week 1, so they got their first matchup, their first game in this Division 1 series. They did pretty good. They put up a good showing. Unfortunately for them, they took an L, but they are back today to go up against Forest Hills, and this is a pretty good one because Forest Hills was on a bye last week. So both of those teams are trying to get at least a dub for today. I think that's going to be a pretty solid matchup. But if you look at the rest of the schedule and the standings kind of in comparison, we've got some pretty fun ones today. The top 2 teams will be facing off as well. So someone is going out of week 3 sitting at 3-0. So yeah, it's a good week. I believe it's even the split. So we're looking at all sorts of fun stuff as we move into today. So it should be a pretty fun one, that's for sure.
Yeah, that 4:15 game there, Greater Altoona CTC taking on Gateway, as you had mentioned, 2 of these undefeated teams at the top. So certainly going to be a banger there as well. And then we'll finish out with Bishop Carroll and United, and then Penn Trafford with Winburn. But as you had mentioned, this first game, I know Berlin Brothers Valley, I think 0-1 on the season, but we talked a little bit before going live here, and you had mentioned that they were taking on Gateway, that undefeated team. It went to 4, some very close games. As you had mentioned, I'm excited for this first one as well. I think it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, Gateway is putting up some serious talent, and so watching this Berlin team kind of come out of nowhere, we didn't really have any information on them. We weren't sure what they were going to do, but they put up a fight, and it was a banger to watch. That's for sure. So it should be a good one. How do you feel going into the top? At the top, but up against Forest Hills, I think they're going to be trying to shoot up there to get up to that ladder. No one wants to be at the bottom, but they've got some stuff to prove, just like Forest Hills does as well. I think we got a good one. Both these teams are really looking to prove something today.
Yeah, I hope to see some fast action out there on the field. I personally am a fan of demo, or not just demos even, but bumps. I think anytime that you're getting those hits, you're creating some space on offense. You're help alleviating some of that pressure on defense as well. So I think that can be can go a long way, as well as a mental game. I know sometimes it can be frustrating if you're getting demoed by the same person over and over and over. So I look to see some of those things out on the field hopefully today as we get ready and get set here for this first one. And it is a best of 5, correct?
Oh yeah, we go almost the distance of the 7. It's always a lot of fun when you get to see that potential game 4 and into a game 5. We did get a game 5 last week to round out our play, which was a super fun time to have in the booth as well as just watching. But I do want to bring up a point that you brought up, which is what you started with, demos and bumps. And it is controversial, but I'm always on team demos and bumps. It is a tactic in the game. It is built into it. It is not, it's not taking advantage of something that wasn't coded. It is part of the game. And it is so good when you see someone who's camping in goalie just get smashed out of there and it just opens the goal wide up. So I'm also going to be looking for some of that strategically aggressive play today. It can definitely change things when you're on offense.
Yeah, and people tend to rely and just love the more mechanical aspect of the game, which is a beautiful part of the game. You see a lot more of that in that EU style as well. But I'm all for just the demos. Being that annoyance as well. As Justin Timberlake said, "Cry me a river." People get upset when you're demoing them, and it can take them out of their comfort zone. And out of their style of gameplay. And anything you can do to win as long as it's not cheating, I say go for it. So
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bunch of different tactics in Rocket League, but it is so hard to get a tactical demo or a bump that actually means something. Just as difficult as it is to get a good rotation, to get out of the way or something. Whatever you need to do to get up off the wall to do an aerial. It's all part of the game, and we're talking champ plus for some of these ranks. So there's no doubt in my mind that we will see a wide range of skills and abilities and tactics used today, whether it is rotations or changing up tactics. Last week we saw some teams that were trying some 2-1 formats where they had two kind of moving up and a single and back on defense, and we saw them switch things up mid-game to make some changes, which you love to see when the teams are kind of reading the field, seeing what's happening, and making some changes. So I don't doubt that we will definitely see the bumps in the demos, but we should also be out there looking for these solid rotations in these plays.
yeah, and you mentioned it there as well. Demos can be easy to do, but there are right and wrong times to go for that demo as well. So, but yeah, I expect to see some really good rotations that comes with team chemistry,
Oh yeah.
communication, things like that. That third man needing to be in that correct positioning. Sometimes you see teams getting a little too aggressive, cheating too far forward, or the double commits. So I think as long as teams can stick to the basics as well, just kind of utilize their play style. Again, we're gonna have a great game here. Berlin taking on Forest Hills.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the worst demo is the one that your team does and they smoke screen you, and now you actually mess up on offense because you can't see anything. So there's so much to do, and again, you talked about chemistry and communication. Sometimes you can see when that starts to break down too, especially when some sort of a multiple double commits start coming into play. There's all sorts of things that can happen that can make things change. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the car skins as well. A lot of times you see
Yeah.
just the octane or some of the basic ones, but I noticed that in some of these high school leagues, you get a little bit of everything, and you might not know exactly what you're going to see from crazy pigeon head toppers to various things. So I'm also excited to see what everybody's little flair they've got to throw out on the pitch
Hey,
today.
just like a demo, the cosmetics part of the game too, and some meme cars. We saw some meme cars last week. The Dominus, the Finnick, the Octane, they're kind of the standards, but all the cars drive. They all go forwards and backwards and fly. So why not play something a little different? You talk about the mental game. Best of 5 can be a mental game, especially if you get some OTs and you go to game 5. But sometimes just seeing something on the pitch that you're like, whoa, 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 that's not. I'm used to Octanes. I'm used to Finnicks and Dominus. Like, why they're driving a Merc? What's going on here? And even that can kind of throw somebody off a little bit.
Yeah, and speaking of a best of 5, consistency certainly is key, right? So that's the great thing about Rocket League. You can win a couple, but you have to play consistently well to finish these out. So it's always impressive to me when I see a team 3-0 someone else, but certainly hoping for some game 5s today, maybe a little overtime as well as we wait to get into this one.
Yeah, all the players are looking to get loaded up. Just waiting on one more, which is fine with us because we're here to chat anyway, so it doesn't really change a whole lot. But yeah, I mean, we did see in game 5 of last week, you can start to see when that fatigue might set in. And sometimes if you're a higher ranked team and maybe you do have some games that are a little bit easier for you to walk through, but when you get that challenge and it goes to game 4, or they're tying it up and then you lose at the last second and now you're pushed into game 5. Sometimes that really can weigh on the players, especially in a game where you only get about a minute between the next game. There's not a whole lot of time to come back down from that, reassess, and chat it up as a team to figure out what to do next.
Yeah, and I think I'm really excited for game number 2 as well. We've had 2 teams,
Oh, yeah.
both 2-0. Obviously, you have a little more background than I did. I know they had at least one 4 series in there. But again, this is going to be a real test for both of these teams today. Obviously, one of them is no longer going to be undefeated. So that's always exciting as
Yeah.
well. But, four exciting games in total today. And certainly glad to be in the booth with you here for the first time, Panda.
Oh, for sure. And it's always better to cast with a friend. So it's always good to have someone on the other side to get things going. Um, and I think we are getting closer and ready to get this kicked off. We when it happens, we'll just jump straight into it. Just because why not? Get the action headed off. But yeah, you talked about the upcoming schedule, and yeah, Greater Altoona up against Gateway. You talked about someone heading out 3-0. I mean, someone's going to be head held high, and someone's going to be thinking about how to try and get back at to that top of the spot, and we'll see what'll happen.
Well, as we wait here, let me just maybe pick your brain a little bit because I know you do have a little more background information. But so Berlin 0-1, they did have that tough first game against the undefeated #1 team up there, and then we have Forest Hills 1-0. If you had to make a prediction just based off, I know we don't have a ton of knowledge here, a ton of statistics, but just for the fun of it,
Of course.
what could you give me here as far as insight on a prediction today?
I I actually think Berlin is going to take this one. I think that Forest Hills was sitting on a bye last week. They got to watch the competition, but that also means that hopefully they spent that time putting in the reps and thinking about it. Berlin, on the other hand, they just came off of a loss, and so they need to prove something. And I think that having gone up against Gateway and probably feeling pretty good about it, I think they're going to be able to eke this one out.
All right. Well, just for the sake of playing devil's advocate, then Forest Hills is a team I've cast for Valorant before. I do enjoy
Okay.
them. They have a lot of really nice players on the team. So I'm going to go with Forest Hills on this one. I think that we very well could have a best of 5 right off rip, but I think Forest Hills is going to edge this one out, or excuse me, going all 5 matches. But I think Forest Hills is going to edge this one out just barely, maybe 3-2.
Maybe the reverse sweep. Everybody loves a
Yeah.
good reverse sweep. There's
All
also
day.
side note. Speaking of Forest Hills, there's an interview on the blog with the Forest Hills team manager. So go check that out. I think that's going to become a more regular thing as we get to learn a little bit more about these programs, where they started, where they came from, and where they're trying to go. So learn more about all these programs by heading up esportcompany.com and check out the blog to learn a little bit more about these teams. So, but yeah, I mean, Forest Hills, if that's who you think's going to win, I wish you the best. But Team Berlin all the way.
Let's go. Let's go. And what a great thing this is too, especially, they said starting to do the blogs more as well. But, I think back of when I was in school and how much fun, how exciting this would be if it was around. And obviously I still enjoy participating, but it's great to see how far esports has come and the opportunities for these kids in school. So it's great to be just a part of it here in the booth.
Oh yeah, especially since as collegiate starts to kick off more and more and more, and there's just so many different places to play and scholarships available for a lot of these students. Being able to be casted, which is just kind of just amazing, right? I mean, not only do they get to play what they love, but they get to be seen, and then they can clip some of this stuff and put it together for a college application, and then all of a sudden they're going to school. And they're playing and they're trying to, try out for teams that are headed off to CRL and NACE and stuff like that. So it's pretty amazing. Again, also as somebody who's thinking and living a little vicariously through some of these fortunate students, it's pretty great to be here to kind of watch them grow. And, who knows where they'll be in the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you can see one of them, in that pro stage one day, and I casted, for that guy. So I've had something similar happen, and it certainly feels great. And you're equally as excited for them as well. So it's always fun to watch the youth rise up and slowly take control of the scene. But again, Rocket League, one of those great games too, right? Like it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're hanging out with your brothers or sisters or your friends, anybody can pick this game up. It's as simple as, car soccer. You're putting a ball in the net. And then obviously to take it to that next level, to get to champ or grand champ, SSL, whatever it might be, there's so many different mechanics and things that you have to learn, so much time that you have to put in. So, but that's why all around Rocket League is just a fun game.
Yeah, it's a great entry point for programs too. You don't need 5 people. You can source it with 3. Anyone can kind of pick it up to start with, and there's a huge player base too, which means that if you're going to learn, you can get the games in. And then there's a lot of high schools and even middle schools that are using it to play, to start leagues, to start tournaments, and just get out there and make things happen. So yeah, it's great to see things kicking off in this high school world. But let's go run to a little break real quick while we get these players loaded in, and we'll be back in just a second. And we're back. We are actually playing a little bit of an interesting change up here as we had some technical difficulties. Berlin's going to be playing down 2 players to get this thing started until they can get one of theirs in. So you'll only see Explosion and Washed Aaron over there on the side. But, sometimes playing down 2 isn't so bad. Hot, what you think? You think this changes things for our predictions, or
Well, are they
that
down
doesn't help
2 or
me.
just 1? I think they're down just. I think they're down just 1. But
sorry, they're down.
Yeah,
Just 1.
Regardless, that's just a really tough spot to be in, unfortunately for them. Hopefully they can get that resolved out here. We'll see if maybe they can find a goal, maybe build some momentum or confidence, waiting on that third member to get in. I know you said Washed Aaron's one to look out for. Of course, we got Pig B back here as well, but nearly 30 seconds off the clock, already up by 1 is Forest Hills.
Yeah, it's a nice way to start the match. They are up a player, so that does help them. Maybe Berlin can use some of that space to help them out, as we see a shot on goal from Pig B is going to go a little bit wide. They are in the corner, bringing this one back over into the blue side, as we see Explosions bringing this one into the corner, heading over to that 100 boost pad. They're going to skip it and send this one crossing over, but no one's there to pick that ball up and try and get a goal in there.
Yeah, Pig B will set this one down. Looks to find the flick. A nice little move just high above the crossbar there. And Pig B on the back pedal. Looks to pressure into the corner. We'll grab the boost and look to clear this one out. Looking for that air dribble. Can't quite find it. Settles in nicely. Wins the 50 as well, as Berlin can't quite get there in time. Giving with a big tempo. And Pig B, well read, finds the back of the net yet again. 2-0 Forest Hills.
Yeah, this is a beautiful play by Pig B, sitting back there, being patient, waiting for this ball to come back down and see that open net and take complete advantage of it. That's going to put them on the board with another one, 2-0, looking pretty good over there on the green side.
There's Pig B on the defense again with a nice save. Now pressuring out quickly, has room for the flick, passes over. We can see Axe looking to get back in time, but Pig B all pressure washed there and able to dribble this one out into the corner. Looks to clear more, but Pig B finds the bicycle, looks for a teammate. One more over the top, just wide, finds the double tap off the side post here. And again, now starting to run away with it. You can see how difficult it is, obviously, playing down a man.
Yeah, it's not easy at all. You really have to change your game plan up here. It's a 2s versus 3s strategy, and if the 3s are doing those rotations like they should be, then there is always going to be a spot open, as Pig B is taking advantage of all of this. They are the player to watch, like you said earlier as we were talking, and they are showing up and they're showing out. Shot over there. Washed Aaron is going to bring this one into the corner. The Mega is rotating back to try and get some boost, headed into the other side of the pitch. Pig B, the only one back there. Explosion sending this one into the side. Wishing they had a teammate in the center, I'm sure, as nothing is going to happen. But an open net for Pig B up and off the top of the crossbar. The double tap is so good, it goes right into that top corner.
Can I get a sheesh, my man, out here putting in some dirty work. Great aerial control as well, making it look easy. Is Pig B now up 4-0, and Pig B has all 4 of those goals off 8 shots, and his teammates only have 2 points apiece. And I just realized this. Pig B is actually a SSL Season 7 Supersonic Legend.
And it shows as they get another goal on the board, 5-0, looking incredibly good and incredibly clean. That might be our highest ranked player in this Division 2. They are definitely putting on a show. That was incredibly pretty over there by Pig B. As you mentioned, only 2 points on the board for Forest Hills' other players, but they are getting in the game, even if the scoreboard doesn't really show it. They've been all over the place, getting demos and getting some movement and some traction and a lot of those good bumps, as Pig B resets one off the tires and puts it off into the side for the 6th of the day.
This kid is absolutely nuts, and I'm loving it. Only in high school, an SSL at Season 7, and just putting on an absolute clinic out here. I am loving it. Basically getting to freestyle a little bit. He's got to be having a field day. All smiles has to be Pig B, and you mentioned it. I mean, both his teammates right now are just nonstop demoing. It's making it a leisurely roll through the park here.
Yeah, and it's nice to have those cars on the field to open these plays up, as we just saw, trying out and successfully doing a reset into a little bit of a musty. So not only freestyling, but also mixing it up in the air and making things just look easy. Makes me want to get back on Rocket League and see if I can do that. I can't. So instead, I'm going to sit here and talk more about it because the Pig B show is in full effect. Up by 7. Up against that 0 on the score line. As we see Axplosion coming in with a nice challenge, the 50-50 is going to work in their favor until they get demoed once again by that unbelievably relentless defense.
Yeah, I have that same disease where I see somebody as nasty as this making insane plays, and I instantly want to get on and do the same thing, and I'm just greeted by a wall of sadness when I realize I can't execute like that. Pigby is just pulling out all the stops out here. Phenomenal so far. The demos relentless from the teammates as well. 7-0. And honestly, I would love to see Berlin get their third member here. It kind of helps them a little bit that Forest Hills is scoring so much, right? That it slows the clock down a little bit, buys them some more time to hopefully get that third's technical details worked out. But hopefully they can find it back. I'd love to see what Berlin has to offer with a full squad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're definitely riding on the clock. So if anything, they can hopefully get into game 2, as you said, taking it a little bit longer. Hopefully that third person can show up and get into the game. But I would also like to see, as Forest Hills is racking up these points with Pig B, is maybe to lay off the gas a little bit and open up the field a little bit, and maybe let's see what the Mega and Giving You Hail can do.
Yeah, 15 shots, 9 goals, and just almost like he's in practice mode here. Again, and honestly, if I am Forest Hills, I wouldn't want to be scoring as much, right? I want to keep the ball in play. I want to let that clock run down. The other team is down a player, and if they can't find him, it's just making it that much easier. 10 on the board here, 4 seconds off the clock, and maybe they're trying to force him into a forfeit, Koopa.
Well, so it's an interesting point because this game is, it's obviously in Forest Hills' favor, but the series isn't won by one game alone. So like you said, riding out the clock here is in their favor to kind of get these ones in the bag in case that player does show up. If that player shows up, things can change pretty quickly. What we're mostly seeing is a lack of that third position being able to bump and get in there. And so, just because you win by 10 or 11 or 12 in the first game, if player 3 shows up, that does not make it guaranteed at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, because we don't even know what Giving You Hail or the Mega have to offer, right? Both just sitting at 22 points, tied for last place with points because all they're doing is demoing. So we really don't know what they have to offer to the team as well. And obviously their play style would be different given Berlin had a third player on that field, but they know that it's just easy mode for them. They know they're able to get away with just looking for those demos and allowing Pig to run away with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good strategy. If you've got the player and they've got the open field, just make it even more open. And I will say that we talked about those tactical demos, and they are very, very good at them. So I'd be curious to see what they can do in the air or on the ground. Or if the strategy of this team just might be carry from Pig B, and the rest of the team just practices opening up the field. And if that's what they've been practicing, then they are nailing it.
Yeah, I mean, 12-0, 31 seconds left, and they are just really running up the score here at this point.
Yeah, the 30-second timer going down, and I'm kind of curious to see if I was even just going to say if they just park someone in defense, but the demos game has been so strong coming out of this Forest Hills that even that's not a guaranteed strategy to at least ride things out. As we see Pig B running down just like that, the demo comes in. So there's really not a whole lot that Berlin can do here except try and mix things up and maybe go on a bump offense, or just keep their eyes on the field and move the camera around to see where the threat is coming from. But yeah, I mean, this isn't just a show by Pig B. It's a really good show by Giving You Hail and the Mega on that accuracy of the other tactics of winning a Rocket League match.
Yeah. I feel like Pig B is just chasing the TEC High School Series record, if not already exceeding it. 14 goals off 21 shots. Only 1 save needed here. He's obviously on both sides of the pitch, but again, unfortunate for Berlin, just down a player, and realistically, especially at this level of gameplay, there's just not much you can do.
Yeah, as the clock does finally go out, Forest Hills, Pig B, Giving You Hail, and the Mega are going to take game number 1. 14 goals is pretty sweet. Look at those touches. I mean, yes, Pick B, obviously getting 171, no big deal. Only one touch for giving you hail and the mega on that entire game. But my goodness, the demos.
Yeah.
23 between two people. That's really something else.
Yeah, 23 demos is a ton. You see the ball possession as well, 69%, obviously dominating the field there as well. But again, we can talk about these statistics all day, but unless it's 3-on-3, it's like it's hard to get a real grasp of it, right? Because 3-on-2 is just not fair, especially when there's an SSL on the field. So hopefully Berlin can get that worked out before we head into this next game. They have a couple games to go, so maybe they can buy some time. But yeah, I mean, if it stays this way, I'm feeling phenomenal about my prediction.
Yeah, that's a pretty good prediction. Maybe you had some. Did you have some inside information coming into this? So yeah, I mean, Forest Hills is looking pretty strong out there. And again, we saw Berlin last week, and they were looking strong as well. They had 4 games against top seed in the whole bracket right now, and there's nothing to shy away from there. So it's really not a lot to say about the team as a whole. Because there's only 2 of them. So we will have to see. Maybe they will change things up moving into this game 2, but we'll just have to see. Things are definitely looking up for Forest Hills unless that third player does show up. So.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that Berlin would have all 3 because you talked about how well they had played against that number 1 Gateway team, right? So right now we're seeing Forest Hills dominate. Obviously, they have the player advantage, but it'd be a little easier to get a better understanding of where Forest Hills might lie amongst these other 2 great teams we're going to see a little bit later today. Because I mean, Forest Hills obviously looking very insane. They obviously have the player advantage as well. So I think after this game and then the following game there with Greater Altoona as well. We'll have a little bit idea of maybe where they rank, but again, I would just love to see an actual full game, and I think we do have it here, Panda.
Yeah, as we get into this next game, just like that, right off the bat, no surprise there. Pig B pulling another one out early. 9 seconds in is going to go ahead and dunk this one over on Washed Aaron. Almost gets the block in there, but not quite able to. So the question, though, is are they talking in the chat to say, okay, that was great. We ran the score up. It was pretty awesome. Slap each other on the back, give each other high fives. Maybe we play this one a little differently. But, obviously we know we are up an entire car on the field. So do we just want to shut this one down and shut it out? Or are we just going to let Pig B run the score up? And I think we might have our answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of wonder how the scoring works as well. Maybe if 2 teams are tied at the end of the season, they go by, most points or a point difference as well. So it could be, I guess, in the benefit of Forest Hills to get as many goals as they can. But I think at some point you have to realize they're a man down. You kind of want to get this over. You let some of that time run off the clock as well. But it certainly looks like they have no plan of doing any of that here today.
Yeah, and I mean this team, Forest Hills, is looking really strong, and of course they are up against 2, so that is a factor here. But I think that the other teams at the top, Altoona and Gateway, should be looking at them with some trepidation. I mean, if this is the strategy, then I'm curious what these teams are going to say they need to work on in practice. Because yes, Pig B is a monster on the field. But these other 2 players are monsters at bumping and demoing, and that is going to be the strategy to try to compete with if you're Gateway and Altoona as the season goes on.
Yeah, it would be interesting to know whether these other 2 members here on Forest Hills, if that's the game plan that they stick to when A, they're fighting, a full squad, or B, even fighting another top tier undefeated team. Do they stick with that same demo play style, or do we see them spread the field a little more, look for those passing plays like you traditionally would at the higher level gameplay of Rocket League?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to tell what's possible or what these other 2 players are capable of. And I mean, in one capacity, that's nice for them, as the other 2 teams might look at this film and just say, well, we too don't really know exactly what to expect from these 2 teams, or from this team or these other 2 players. And so that can be in Forest Hills' favor, certainly. It's harder to scout this team. Obviously, Pig B, Supersonic Legend. If you can demo them, then maybe you actually do open up the field. So if I was these other 2 teams, these other 3 teams that are going to be up against them as the season and into the playoffs as we go, I mean, Pig B's the threat. If you can do the same demoing and bumping that they are capable of doing and knocking Pig B out of the match, then I think that might be the path to victory.
Yeah, and I saw Washed Aaron actually disconnected there for a second as well. Now back into the game, and You got to wonder how long they can continue to take this beating here before either finding that third member or maybe just going ahead and calling it quits, because unfortunately for them, it has been quite the blowout here in the first game. And now it's starting to look that way here in game number 2 as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're only at the 3:38 mark. They're already up by 6, half of what was last game's score line, as Pig B sends this one, curls it around, puts it off to the side post. Explosion is going to try and run this one up. The 50-50 is going to be turned off, giving you hail. Curls around, and instead of going for the ball, goes for the demo, and that opens Pigby up for a nice carry from about midfield with some nice flourish as well. So beautiful tactical demo. Sets it up into a slight pass. Pigby just picks it up and carries it in.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be really frustrating if you are that Berlin squad, because not only are you playing a man down, but you're playing against a team that is just relentlessly demoing you and allowing Pig B to really just do whatever they want. So we see maybe a little bit of return action there as we find the shot, but not quite the demo, but a big bump onto Pig B. But again, Mega, they're waiting with a demo of their own, pressuring it back across midfield as Axe tries to find something here, and a little bit of a double commit, then the demo, and now a wide open net. Should be one more for Pig B.
Yeah, oh, beautiful, beautiful. 360 all over. Not even a musty, I mean, look at this replay. The car control is pretty amazing on this Pig B player, and I mean, it's right smack dab in the center of the goal. And, you know, we did see a little bit of a stall there on the sideline, and that just let Explosion get exploded and open up another run for Pig B, and who is now sitting at 8 goals with 3 saves as well. So the shots are coming out for Berlin, but not only can Pig B score, but they can save.
Yeah, I would be thrilled to have half of this kid's skill. Just absolutely out here dominating. Phenomenal car control, phenomenal ball control, whether it's on the ground or in the air. We've seen him make a couple pretty big defensive stops as well. And you know, maybe that is the strategy. When you have someone this skilled, you can just kind of have your two teammates run around and be menaces on the field, allowing Pig B, as you had mentioned, kind of opening up the field, allowing for him to find these kind of freestyle-like plays toward the net. And right now, it's just really been working for Forest Hills. Again, I would love to see him not only against a full squad, but one of these other top-tier teams that we've talked about today.
Yeah, and we will definitely get to see that as the season continues and moves forward. We are just at week 3, so there are 3 additional games. I believe I have to check the schedule just to be safe on that one. But there's definitely plenty more games to watch to see this team go up against either full teams or, let me see. Oh, speaking of which, Berlin has a third on the pitch. And I think we're finally going to get to see some of that action we've been wanting out of this full squad. So the question now becomes, do things change? And what happens when you've got that third car sitting on the pitch?
Yeah, you know, we still see a lot of these demos coming out. Pig B still just fearlessly carrying across midfield here. Finds the back of the net. But again, we saw it kind of get into the game, just getting situated here. So ideally what I would like to see is, you know, maybe them find a goal, maybe 2 before the end of this game, build a little confidence, build a little momentum heading into game 3, and see if they can't steal one of these later games away and push this into a best of 4, best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I expect to see the demos continue. I expect to see the same, you know, business as usual out of Forest Hills. Why would they change things unless something happens? But the question's going to be, for me, with a minute and a half left, if Forest Hills doesn't score in the next minute and a half, or they only get 1 or 2 goals, that's a huge flag for that team that Berlin's here to show up.
Yeah, some big double demo action from Mega as well. And just before that, though, we saw a demo onto Pig B, and you got to wonder if that could be a good strategy here for this Berlin team. Is we've seen really, as far as all the scoring goes, all the sick mechanics, if you will, have all really been from Pig B. So if you take out this raid boss, if you will, does that allow you to score a goal or find some room to work with? So certainly that would be in my mind if I'm playing on this Berlin squad.
Oh yeah, take out the carry, right? You know, if this is League of Legends, which it's not, but at this point it feels like there's an 80 carry sitting on the pitch. Take him out and go for the rest of the team, and that could be a strategy. They have an extra car now, so they can try something, right? They can get up in the air, as we just saw Explosion try to do off the sidewall. Getting knocked out as iconic. The third player does come in and starts to make some challenges, but I would also chalk some of this up to This is game 2, and Iconic just showed up. So it's definitely getting thrown into the fire here. I'm sure they wish they could just restart this one, get back to 5-0-0 on the score line, and just start fresh.
Yeah, I mean, Pig B is just a juggernaut. Like we look, obviously those demos are huge, but giving you Hale 0 points on the board, only 40 for the Mega Blaziken as well. And everybody on the other squad, even Iconic, who has joined late, already more points than that. So, obviously these demos are nice, but Pig B is really pulling out some good mechanics here. And I think we don't even necessarily realize how good Pig B is because he's making it look so easy.
Oh, yeah. And here we go. Just a pick up off the side wall and a reset off the tires in the front of the goal, and is just going to walk that one in as well. So even though we do see 3 on the side of Berlin, we are seeing one giant juggernaut, as you said, of Pig B. And it doesn't seem to matter to them how many cars the other team has. They are still able to sneak these goals in.
Yeah, I mean, already at 13-0, I can't remember the exact scoreline of that first game, but we see Pig B on the other side as well with a beautiful save, now pressuring outward, looking to find more, carries across midfield. And honestly, they don't really need to score here. Just buy some time, let the ball run around, let the game expire, and head on to game number 3 as they look to, finish this series in a sweep. Fortunately for us, Berlin did find their third member. So at least for one of these games, we're going to have a full squad on both sides here, get a little bit more of a tale of what's going on. But again, this Forest Hills team is looking very, very dirty. I mean, look at the score set there for Pig B.
Oh, yeah. And more touches out of Pig B on that one. I think they only had 117 last, only 117 last game. Look at Explosion, though, getting up there, 40 touches. The question, they just got to be able to get it through that defense. So need some more shots. Hopefully Iconic being in the game will help clear some of that up. They only got in there with a minute and a half left or so. So, something's going to happen here. But yeah, I mean, Pig B is showing up, but it's game 3. It's best of 5. So, I mean, anything can happen here. Maybe we see a little bit of a change.
Yeah, we saw the other two players with like 12 or 13 demos apiece in game number 1. The Mega had 19 in game number 2. I don't think I've ever seen that many demos in a game. So I don't know if they were listening to us prior to the game starting about how much we love demos and that aggressive play, but they are certainly sticking to that game plan, whether a player advantage or not. And honestly, Berlin has to find a way to stop with Pig B. I think it starts with Pig B. I think you got to get some more pressure on him. You got to find the demos, or if not a demo, at least a bump. Get him out of that feng shui. He's just the car is constantly moving, right? Which is what you want in Rocket League, and Pig B's doing a phenomenal job. But I don't see Berlin stopping him here. I think Forest Hills is going to go ahead and sweep this one out. Unfortunately,
yeah, it's 100% looking. It 100% looks great for Forest Hills, which is a very safe way to say that. But and we'll just have to see. Full squad though. They're gonna start this one off full squad. I definitely agree that if they can get Pig B out of there a little bit, don't go for the ball. You got 2 other players on the pitch. Go for Pig B. As we see a nice save coming out from Explosion, as Pig B does try to get one in the goal and misses.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they allowed Pig B to get so far up the field. Again, we see really not any cars on Pig B. Now the aerial control looking for the flip reset, and he gets it. Fires it into the back of the net, 434, and Pig B doesn't care how many players are on the field. He's going to do it time and time again.
Oh, my God. Look at that traffic, too. I mean, there's an entire wall of cars and still gets it into the one spot that's completely wide open. And it was about 5 pixels wide. So kickoff is going to go towards the corner. Pig B is going to get this one out. It was on target from Explosion, but the carry comes in. Pig B bringing this down to an open net. And that is just leaving one on the doorstep for Pig B to walk right in with.
Yeah, I honestly thought that Berlin was about to sneak a goal in there off that kick, but lo and behold, out of nowhere comes the flying Pig B. And then just on the counterattack, right? There's nobody that can stop him right now. He's so fast. He gets the ball up into the air, able to dribble as well. And just they don't have an answer for Pig B right now. And they really haven't even been able to get a car on to their car or find that demo.
Yeah, Pig B is just slippery. Able to stop, able to start, able to curl, and able to go anywhere they need to go to stop the drive and keep the drive. The Pig B drive as we go to the top, right under the crossbar. Washed Aaron tries to clear this one, and unfortunately, it's a beautiful pass to Pig B as Iconic is just off the mark to get a side clear going. The first goal, though, only took 30 seconds. Things are changing slightly. It is nice to have that third person on the pitch. I guarantee it. Berlin, even though it's not looking great, they probably feel a little bit better knowing things are a little bit more even. As we see Pigby dropping down, is going to miss uncharacteristically off the side. Iconic is going to try and take this one off the side, curling around, puts it into the middle. Pigby there as well to pick it up, brings it over, and you can see off to the side, both Forest Hill players are hunting and running to get a demo.
Yeah, I mean, Pigby may be a beast. He may be a machine, but he says, hey, I'm human too. And so we see a rare sighting of a miss there from Pigby. Wash Darren doing a great job here on the counterattack. A nice angle, able to sneak this one in, does find a goal, and now only down by 2 with 3:38 remaining. Plenty of time. You absolutely love to see this out of Berlin. I love when a team doesn't give up, right? They were down a player. They're still fighting back through this adversity, and now only down by 2. So I'm enjoying this one.
Oh, yeah, and I think what happened there is what opened that up for Berlin was the aggression coming out of Forest Hills. They hunted and they went on the attack for those demos. But here's the thing. If you don't get the demo or you don't get the bump, the car's still moving. And I think that's what allowed Berlin to get back on offense to a completely open backfield. And that makes you think if Forest Hills is going to start changing up a little bit of the strategy. I mean, they don't need to. Pigby is here to do work. But it was nice to see Berlin get one on the board, taking advantage of that aggression that we've been seeing.
Yeah, we see Mega finishing up this play here with a double demo as well. And again, as much as it is a physical game, can be a mental as well. And that's just got to be frustrating if you are that Berlin squad. This Mega menace out here again. Now we see Giving You Hail finding a demo on the explosion as well. And I'm starting to wonder if anybody else other than Pigby is going to score for this Forest Hills. I mean, they don't need it. It's obviously not necessary, but just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing anything out of the other two players other than the accuracy on the ground. Just beelining for these cars. I don't see any reason for them to try and let them do that. I mean, it would be nice to kind of rotate this thing around, see what the other two have to offer. But right now, I think maybe they're just saying, you know what, Pigby can score. They do have that third player out there. Let's just sing this one home.
So good. I feel like Pigby is a name that we are going to see in the future breaking out in the collegiate scene. I mean, to get SSL alone is an insanely tough feat. People don't realize how tough that is. And so to get that alone, I'm excited to see the progression of this player.
Oh yeah, if anything, there's no stopping what we will be seeing out of Pigby, and I think they're going to carry through not just this series, not just this season and into the playoffs, but they are someone to watch. I mean, they are putting together. If they aren't putting together a highlight reel and a clip reel from this game alone, then well, they should be. So Pigby, if you're listening, these are the clips you want, because sitting at SSL in high school is a great way to find your way in college.
Yeah, we have 2-0 undefeated teams coming up next, and I hope I'm fortunate enough to cast whoever wins that series versus this Forest Hills team, because I certainly want to see how this Forest Hills team plays against maybe a little bit higher of a team again, because they don't necessarily have 3 insane people out there. The other 2 members very talented, but all we are really seeing from them are demos. So what happens when they're playing another solid squad? I would love to get a feel for how well they are out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And yes, Altoona is going to be looking good. Gateway is going to be looking good. So that should be super fun to watch as well. And they're going to be putting on a show that obviously Pigby and the rest of this Forest Hills squad is going to want to watch to see, what's sitting at the top of this leaderboard for these division standings. So we do see opening up, curling around, Giving You Hail. It's kind of just blocking, and they're just running a zone defense now, keeping the ball open for Pigby to curl in. I've never seen that before in Rocket League, but that was kind of amazing.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words at this point. This isn't typically what you see in Rocket League. Even from the 3-2 start that we saw a team, just playing a player down. But this has been certainly a very different and crazy first series here in Rocket League. But I would be lying if I said I'm not having an absolute blast watching it unfold.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely fun. We said there'd be sparks. We said there would be something crazy to watch, and they are definitely giving us that. It is a wonder to see as Pig B is able to open up this defense, getting past all three blue defenders sitting over there and putting on a clinic as Berlin is sitting on the laurels a little bit, trying to look at that scoreline and figure out what they can do to change things. At this point, it's a little bit of a practice for them too. You know, there's something to be said about playing up as well against somebody that's more talented and higher ranked than you. It is the only way to get better.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw him come out and score a goal here, right? Obviously struggling a little bit in those first couple of games being a player down, but we saw that they were able to steal a goal and keep the game relatively close in those first couple minutes. However, in the last ladder things here, Forest Hills now beginning to run away with it. We talked about consistency being key, and they certainly have that here. They have a game plan. They're sticking to it, and there's really no need to change it, right? It's absolutely working and working to a T.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to change this. The only thing to change would be it's just Pigby that's getting the practice and the time out there. So one could even argue that this could hurt them in the future up against some of these other teams that might be higher ranked and more equally ranked are up there with Pigby. I mean, that could come back to bite them. So, you know, one game is a nice thing to win. One series is a nice thing to win. But there are definitely other undefeated teams in this bracket, in this division. And, you know, the same strategy doesn't always work against everyone.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. For some reason, though, I feel like Pig B is not stressing it, absolutely exuberating the confidence out here on the field. As we see him put one more in, 14 on the board, 19 shots, and 4 saves as well. I mean, really doing all the work on both sides of the field here, you know, minus the demos.
Yeah, I mean, putting on that show, as we see in the chat, asking to stay still so they can get some demos as if there haven't been enough yet. As we see Washed Aaron getting one up and over across the goal, trying to get something set up for their teammates, and no one's able to get there in time. Pig B does get demoed. Explosion relentlessly coming back in and saying, you know what, we're here too. We're going to put something on the board, putting this one off onto the side. It's unfortunately a clear and a pass to Pig B, who's going to put this one in.
Yeah, 15-1, a minute left. And honestly, it looked to me as if Giving You Hail wasn't even playing for that round, just sitting just outside the goal there. So Mega coming in with a couple demos, Big B doing what Big B does, and still able to find another goal.
Yeah, kickoff is going to go a little bit wide. Pig B's over there to pick it up, dribbles it off of the top of their car, sits it into the front, and the defense is just a little bit too short, off by a few seconds as Pig B's going to bring in another goal. 16 on the score line, 16 all from Pig B.
Yeah, you know, I wonder how many times we've said the name Pigby in this outing already. I'm sure it's been, I would love to see the clips over and over and over. I'm sure it's a lot, but you know, just putting again a clinic, an absolute showcase out here. Pigby doing a phenomenal job. The teammates, you know, being diligent, getting those demos left and right, being a frustrating menace. We see the flick over the top here as well. As it's really just been pretty easy for Pigby out here, kind of on the practice field basically at this point.
Yeah, I mean the director, the observer, there's not really a lot else to be able to watch. So we are definitely just getting a lot of Pigby with all of the touches, 150 in game 2, 117 in game 1. I'm curious to see what the stat line is going to be for this one. It's hard not to watch them as Washed Aaron does come around and does juke out both Forest Hills players and sends one off to the side. Pigby does clear it as we see Explosion curling her back on defense, trying to get in time to get demoed and to set one up for Pigby to get number 18 on the board.
Not one, not two, but 3 demos as Iconic Caden has left the match as well. And I think, you know, maybe they've had enough. That, like I said, that can be frustrating. I've seen a lot of demos. I've been frustrated. I've never in my life seen this many. And the mega is just everywhere, blowing everyone up.
Yeah, we talked about that early on, the tactical demo. I had no anticipation of it playing off like this. You know, how to demo? Can you do it? Is it you know, planned? How does it work? I mean, this is a clinic, obviously, on the power of the demo. So a little foreshadowing that we didn't anticipate, but it definitely is coming to play here. With 12 seconds left, we are so close to seeing 20 on the score line, a score that I have never seen before in a game like this. So kudos to Pig B and the Forest Hills team, as they are going to drop this one down. Forest Hills is going to take the G, and that was really something. 161 touches.
Yeah, I mean, just getting, and then what's crazy is, right, we were expecting a little bit, still a crazy game, but a little bit lower scoring of a game, having all three members. It ends up being our highest scoring game, with Pig B getting the most touches he's had out of any series. So, we thought maybe that extra player would make a difference, but not for 3,000 points on the score there as well. And just, we call it a clinic, we call it a showcase. We keep saying these words over and over because it was just that insane, and a great job by Forest Hills to secure that. Now 2-0, and after today, one of the only few teams who will remain undefeated.
That's right, as they are 2-0. So congratulations to them. That's going to do it for game number 1. We'll be right back after break. What's up, everybody? We are back. Game 2, match 2, excuse me. Game 1, Greater Altoona versus Gateway. So excited to see this one for sure, as these two teams are sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now. Hot Sauce, what are you thinking? Match number 2.
I'm loving it here. Both these teams 2-0, so both of these teams undefeated so far on the season. Gateway in that slightly top seed, so I'm hoping that Greater Altoona can maybe pull this one out. I'm always a fan of the underdogs, and I do love the GOAT mascot that I see him rocking here. 30 seconds expired. Not a goal yet, so maybe both these teams kind of feeling each other out here in game number 1 as we look to get set here.
Yeah, we see a wayward shot getting blocked nicely, so they almost got one on the board, but a little bit of a difference from game 1, as we do see all 6 on the field, as well as no goals on the score line as we hit that first minute. As Square is going to drop this one, pick up the boost. Nice play, is going to ride it around the side wall. They are going to be challenged, and that's going to stop that drive. So still nothing happening, but a nice defensive game from both of these teams.
Yeah, I'm liking some of these car skins from this Gateway squad as well. Looking a little flashy out here on the field as Steele looks to find the touch, carry towards the net as well. And it looked like Big Daddy going up, finding the save here. Over the head of Sergeant Cool again, though, and that one nearly sneaks by. It's P Big who's going to find the stop yet again, looking for the flip reset here, though. And this blue squad, Greater Altoona, is kind of relentless down here. Gateway needs to find a way to get it clear.
Yeah, indeed, as we see Big Daddy now stopping here. Oh, trying to get one going, and the challenge comes through and sends the ball all the way over to the back corner. Now back to Big Daddy as well. They got blocked, and they came back to get their own ball. Lots of things happening over here on the orange side of the pitch. It's not where you want to be. Square is up here bringing one down. It looks clean, but there's too much traffic. So nice defense again as we go 2 minutes scoreless. Both these teams now just trying to figure out how to break through these walls.
Yeah, this is a little more of that traditional Rocket League style, and what a pinch from Steele. You're going to see it here again in the replay. Passes to himself off the wall. Just great situational awareness. Pinches off the ground, booms it through 3 defenders to find the first goal with 2:51 remaining.
Yeah, Greater Altoona finally cracking through somewhere to open things up. And I don't think Gateway was thinking that was going to happen, as they are definitely possibly looking like a strong team in this division. But it's nice to see Greater Altoona getting one on the board. We see them curling around now. A lot of traffic. I saw a little bit of a bump demo try there, bringing this one out. Nice little pass, flicking. It's up over onto the side, but it's going to be missed. And instead, they're going to trade for a demo. The defense is coming out. Tactical plays are coming out as well, trying to get one on the board.
Yeah, P. Daddy had a phenomenal shot there, but Mr. May with a huge save as well, able to find the clear by some time. 2:15 on the board. Sargent up top finds the touch, now tucked into the corner. P. Daddy looks to carry this one out, has to loop off, finds some more boost to Steele, carries inward, now above the net, and Square fires it on in for goal number 2. The Goats looking like the Goats, just that here in game number 1.
Yes, greatest of all time. It's currently Steele and Square making things happen over there for Altoona. Blue looking pretty good as we get into another kickoff here. Steele versus Pop. Pop's going to bring this one over into the corner. He's going to follow it as well. He's going to send this one into the center. It's a nice little pass, but they're all going to hold back and rotate onto defense, trying to keep something going, looking for 3 on the board. Square brings this one down. It's beautiful. It's into the front of the key, but they can't make anything happen with it.
Pop, Puke, Square Cubed, Mr. Meh. I'm loving these names out here so far as these kids are stringing together some nice plays. We see the demo from Steele as well. Going to circle back, grab the boost, has plenty of time, no pressure coming from Gateway here across midfield, and Steele from downtown carries it in.
Beautiful play here, dropping it and picking it up. Pass to themselves. Beautiful in textbook. Trying to get the defense in there, but unfortunately, they're just going to smash it in all the way into the goal. So looking great. This Altoona team is coming out all goats over here.
Yeah, already 3-0 on the board. I think I saw both Steele and Square GCs of Season 7 as well. So some title action for them as we get a little closer to that 1 minute mark. The ball, water falling down, and Mr. Meh with ease, able to put this one in. And Gateway, a 2-0 team, but right now it's all Greater Altoona. CTC 4-0 in this first one. although plenty of time, this comeback is certainly obtainable. It's going to be very difficult to do.
Yeah, down by 4 is pretty rough as the ball rolls in, and Mr. Meh is going to clean one up, and that's an unfortunate goal. I think what we're seeing here is going for the side boost. Actually, no. A little bit of a side boost goal, but that's really unfortunate. Bringing them to 5, though, so they're feeling pretty confident. Altoona is looking really good.
Yeah, that was just one of those meh goals, That's why he did it right to the right. I don't even know how he got that little cheap bounce over the head of the defender there, but those things happen from time to time. If you're Gateway right now, you kind of realize that this game is out of reach. You need to just settle down, kind of reset, get into your play style, find a way to get some good passing plays in here, find a goal or two before this game expires so that you can go into game number 2 with a little bit of confidence, because this is pretty much the nail in the coffin here.
Yeah, even just getting 1 on the board is enough to say we can do it. We found a way to crack through this defense. And also sometimes just saying, you know what, this game is down. We're down by 6. That's okay. Let's try and change some things up. There's no risk here for Gateway to try a new defense or try an offensive strategy. There's nothing that they can do. There's nothing they can't do to try and see what'll happen. So we'll see if they figure something out here. Sargent sends this one into the corner. Steele bringing it out. Altoona on the drive, brings it down. Pop on defense, goes for the challenge. It just goes over and it sends it right in front of the goal. But Big Daddy is able to clear this one, but not fast enough. Mr. Mez sends a nice little pass. Defense is still looking strong. Altoona on the drive, up and over onto the crossbar, and no one to pass to.
Yeah, P. Daddy again finding another save. 5 on the board for them, looking for that counterattack. And right now, Greater Altoona might be winning, but they Gateway certainly winning in the skin category here. I'm loving the color schemes of these cars, even a little topper action there. Unfortunately, didn't add any extra horsepower or help them out in game number 1. Greater Altoona shutting them out 6-0, as we see 6 shots for each member across the board. And really, it was all in their possession. Gateway kind of struggling to maintain possession or find some quality shots on goal as well.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Greater Altoona coming out to play, repping that GOAT logo and putting it to good work. And nice work across the field, too. I mean, Steele definitely with the MVP. Nice goal count, nice assists, nice saves, demos, getting some good touches. But Mr. Matt, we saw some great work out of them. Not the top scorer because those assists really helped out with Steele. But, everybody getting some play time out there.
Yeah, I mean, 4 total demos between 2 teams. So certainly a much different series than that first series we saw, where there's probably more demos in that one game than all these other games combined. But we saw a lot of great mechanical skill there as well. Greater Altoona, though, just finding some great passing plays, really phenomenal rotations as well. The third man never overextending, really, and just able to always keep that ball in play on that Orange Gateway side. So if they can continue to do that, we might see another sweep here. Hopefully Gateway can settle into their play style, though, maybe help, as we mentioned, find some space through those bumps or demos and see if they can pull this back 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, that first game, they're both sitting here at the top, at the top of the division. The first game is kind of that test, and Altoona definitely showed them they are here. Gateway's got to figure out how to stop this Altoona offense. So maybe they can figure that out in this game. They get to reset. They get to change things up. Yes, they lost the last one, but that's okay. Gateway is a good team. They are solid. I think that they can definitely get some points on the board and change things up.
Well, hopefully we can see that here in game 2 as we're already on the pitch and things are underway. There we go. Sorry, my screen messed up there on me, but
well, Big Daddy is coming here on defense for Altoona. Is going to send this one, for Gateway. Sargent now curling up around the side of the pitch. A lot of traffic there is going to help out Greater Altoona after all, as they're going to pop this one up in front of the goal, and it's going to be brought down off the top bar. The double touch is going to let Square come in and get one on the board for Altoona very early in game 2.
Yeah, just 24 seconds off the clock. Steele with that extra touch, kind of throwing off the defense. P. Daddy just in a tough position as well, as the attack was too quick from Square, and they find an early one here. Greater Altoona certainly looking like the slightly tougher squad out on the pitch at the moment. We'll see if Gateway can turn things around as they try to get a counterattack here off the pressure. There's Pop Puke with a nice touch off the wall, but not a lot of power. We see Square carrying it a back cross into the corner. Another demo from Steele as well. Now in a 1v1. I think he was able to push Pop Puke out as well, but couldn't quite find the shot there was Greater Altoona.
Yeah, coming back on defense, Square sits back on the goal. Steele crosses over to clear this one, sits a drive going up. They're all by themselves, and they're going to roll this one in nicely. Steele all the way from the other side of the pitch, set themselves up beautifully for this goal.
Yeah, not an insanely difficult move, but a really nice key move off the wall there, kind of reset, pressures the ball into the ground, giving it some extra power there and just opening up that whole field, able to walk it in, doesn't get too crazy, finds the goal, puts his team up by 2 here as we hit that 4-minute mark, and now Square across midfield. Nice pass to Mr. Mad, just wide into the left, hitting that post there as we see P. Daddy trying to get that counterattack, but Steele is going to read this play out, looks to carry it on across midfield, has help. Mr. May, a little bit of a double commit here, but on that attack, lays it up right in front of the net, and Square will capitalize yet again.
Yeah, great positioning here as Steele does set this one up off the side, brings it right back down, and Square was just there, setting back a little bit. We did have 2 forward defenders, but they did have that person in the back. So if that hadn't gone in, they would have been looking pretty rough with nobody in the backfield to stop a drive. But that's how you want to play it. You want to have someone rotating there to pick up these rebounds, and they did it. They did it perfectly.
Well, more pressure here coming from this GOAT squad, and they've done a great job of keeping the possession of the ball and the majority of the time down here on this Gateway side as P. Daddy looks to settle this one down. Pop Puke going a little high, had the whiff there, but unfortunately can't regain control. Steele now with the pressure, 2 into the net, a double commit again. P. Daddy looks to bang it out. Square's there waiting patiently, fires it in, threads the needle, and gets another.
Yeah, Square showing up pretty big. 3 goals on the day, 3 shots. That sounds like 100% to me. Making things happen. Season 7 grand champion, so putting that flex to work here. Making things happen. 4-0 on the score line is definitely something to be proud about for Altoona. The ball goes up off the side on the kickoff. Big Daddy comes down to bring this one in front of the goal, but it's going to be stopped by Steele OP. Sargent now taking a shot blocked by Steele, sends it off into the corner. We've seen a lot of action from the sidewalls here for this Altoona team, and they're setting themselves up big. Steele with the flip off the top of the car, but it's going to be stopped in a nice little defensive drive as Pop does get a block here. This might set up a nice little drive for Big Daddy.
Yeah, now carrying down the field, kind of a bit of a coagulation here from the GOATs. Look to reset a wide open net. Steele able to get back in time, does find the save. Now on the counterattack, looks to pressure out, but doesn't quite have the momentum. Can't get the touch as well. The ball stalls out across midfield. Mr. May, booming clear up top. Steele just high, but look at that. Steele, this is what makes a team so great. Searching for that play after the ball. On the way out, we see Steele with a demo as well, just adding extra flair.
Yeah, 3 wide in the goal, trying to stop it. It actually pays off. Big Daddy now on the drive, moves this one up toward the sidewall. Square brings it down and gets stopped in that 50-50. Now Sargent is on the move, brings it down, open net situation, and that's going to bring us to 1 goal from Sargent. Gets one on the board with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, putting the cool in cool again off the side wall. Nice shot into the net. Nobody's around. They find their first one. Can they continue to do it, though? I certainly think they're going to have a tough time because this Greater Altoona team is looking very solid here today.
Yeah, they're incredibly strong, but it is a confidence goal. It feels good to get one on the board, especially when you've been down like you have. It makes things seem a little bit more attainable as we see Big Daddy trying to clear this, brings it into the center. Steele OP flexing and flying off the wall, looking for a pass. I don't see anybody down there. They're going to retreat as they a little bit of a miscommunication. We get a triple commit in the corner, and that could set things up for Gateway, but they're not able to get anything happening here.
Yeah, they a solid attempt, but unfortunately, again, just not able to capitalize on the opportunity in front of them. Steele with a nice save, now carrying back across midfield. The razzle-dazzle is there. Can't hold on to the ball. P. Daddy now looking to go the other direction with that topper as well. I'm loving the little moo cow. Let's see if he can get one of his own off the back wall. Doesn't happen. Second chance. Opportunity not there as Mr. May finds another clear, and what an angle from Square.
Off the backboard, curls back around and reads it perfectly. Look at this, flying from almost midfield. puts it right in. The butterflies fly out, and that looked good.
What's crazy to me is how easy they control those cars. It is not that easy. It is not that easy at all, from experience of multiple years. And they just make it look so easy. It's so much fun to watch, even more fun to cast.
Oh, yeah. The fast twitch on these and the perfect redirections of the cars, as well as the resets and knowing all the mechanics and watching it just happen in fluid real time is pretty incredible. As we see drive coming in, Big Daddy gets stopped as Square is on the drive. Mr. Met up in the air. We've seen them do this before. They try to pass one to nobody in the midfield. Steel's able to pick this up, curls it around, looks for the cross, sends it a little bit too far. They're going to try again, picking up that 100 boost pad. Big Daddy now sending them over. Steel intercepted. We've seen so many interceptions from these two teams. Definitely Altoona getting the better of them, but all of these teams creating a lot of traffic. Shots on goal. Mr. Met is going to get one. Finally gets one, actually. First goal of the day.
Yeah, and this is kind of things like now that I wonder, right? We saw Forest Hills play. They have the SL, very talented. No SSL here, but 2 GCs. But what I do see here is a team that plays much better together. All 3 team members getting involved. The rotations seem to be much more on point. And so I think it's going to be interesting when a team like Forest Hills meets this Greater Altoona team a little later in the season.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of team we said that Forest Hills might be have some problems with. They are not afraid to give everybody a little bit of a touch on the ball. I'm curious to see the stat line after this as well to see what that looks like, because Forest Hills 100 plus for one, very few for the others. But here we go. Take a look at this. 33, 59, 35. So pretty good across the board, considering the MVP wasn't even the highest touch. So everybody's getting involved, and on Gateway as well. So very different game and very different play style.
Yeah, again, only 2 demos from each side as well. So really not a lot of demos coming out, which I think could potentially help Gateway a lot more in this. But again, it comes down to that possession. We talked about Greater Altoona keeping possession of that ball, keeping it down on that Gateway side. You see the stats there, 61% to 39 as well. And just doing a great job of maintaining the boost, kind of starving that Gateway squad as well. But really, it was all Greater Altoona in both of those games. We saw a goal come in for Gateway in that second game, so hopefully we can see a little more out of them in game 3. But I just feel like Greater Altoona is playing so well right now that I feel like the brooms are coming out here in Series 2 as well.
Yeah, it's definitely looking good for Altoona. I mean, a beautiful game, beautiful play, and a lot of touches and a lot of action for all of those players. The rotations were really, really good. The interceptions as well. They always kept somebody on that ball, and it never let Gateway have an opening. There were also a couple double commits and triple commits coming out from Gateway. Sometimes it worked on defense. They were able to stop some of these drives. But at the end of the day, Altoona just took it and ran with it. But they did get that goal, which definitely will help them move into this next one. They know they can do it. They know they can get through that Altoona defense. The question is, can they just get a little bit more out of it and possibly get some bumps, get some demos, and change things up for Gateway?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we didn't really see many, maybe 1 or 2 double commits from Greater Altoona, not much. The team communication, team chemistry seems to be really there and on point today, certainly firing on all cylinders. So I think we might have a little bit closer of a game, like game number 2, maybe a 4-1, a 5-2, but I don't see Gateway taking away from Greater Altoona here in this best of 5.
Yeah, we see the kickoff going in the favor of Steel with the double tap off the top bar, 8 seconds in, and Mr. Meh is going to put one on the board.
Yeah, and look at the speed that Steel goes up there, just instantly up in there, off the double tap, off the wall, finds the first goal, and just a great job by Steel.
Yeah, second kickoff very early and already down by 1. Doesn't feel great, but it feels great for Altoona. Mr. Meh sending this one over into the corner. It's going to drop back down in front of that goal. Steel up in the air, Square on the back to kind of catch some of this rebound, but they are going to get challenged, and that's going to send the ball into the corner. So things could be in Gateway's favor. But again, Mr. Meh is where the ball is all the time, and brings this one all the way back to Gateway's side.
Yeah, just Greater Altoona right now having phenomenal rotations. That third man always in the right position here as well. And now we'll take another quick look at the replay. Steel finding the demo as well just before, fires it in, the demo after, and Steel right now just cutting this team apart.
Yeah, Steele's looking good. Mr. Mez looking good. I mean, Altoona's just looking good. Kickoff goes off to the side. Two blue cars heading up the wall for that one. Square looking good. Gets the reset, brings it on down. It's just a little bit too far to the side. P Daddy is going to bring this one out. Sargent is behind them. The demo stops the drive in any way possible. Open goal. It's going to be deflected. It's going to kick it right back into midfield.
Yeah, already as many demos coming out here in this game as the first two, so maybe a little more aggressive play style. We see two tucked into the net here, though, and maybe a little too much. They can't find any pressure outward, and might be why, as they do have two on the hold. Pop Puke comes up, finds the save from Steele. Square looking to put it back in, does just that. Off the corner, Mr. Meh is going to take a bump as well. This one's going to be over the head of Steele on that retreat. Looks to carry it off the back wall, keep it banging, and now we'll look for that counter attack, but the pressure now coming from Gateway.
P Daddy is sitting in the back of the goal, so changing up their strategy here to try and keep Gateway minimally down, only by 2 right now. So hoping that maybe the 2-1 offense is going to help them out. The ball is floating in midfield. Mr. Mez is going to bring it back, curls it up across the backboard, sends it up into the sky. Carrying this one through. That goalie that has been there for the last couple seconds is gone, but it's going to be stopped by Sargent. But that doesn't stop Altoona. On the drive, Square brings it down, and it's going to be shot off the top of the backboard. No one makes anything out of it.
I thought Mr. Meh was going to hit that flip reset in front of the net as well. P. Daddy going nearly the wrong way. Cheats just past the goal. Looks to carry it out. There's Steele, though, off the sidewall. Passes over Square. Can't get there in time as Sergeant Cooligan is there yet again. Pop Puke off the corner. The ball floating in front of the net dangerously here is Sergeant Cooligan. Able to go up and secure that one. Now to P. Daddy off the sidewall looking for teammate, but Steele able to get there in time. He's read the play across midfield, the open net, but nobody is there, and Gateway is going to dodge a bullet here.
Yeah, we saw him try the same play twice, cross it over, and it didn't work out. But Steele brings one up off the top bar. The bounce back from Big Daddy is unfortunately going to land right in front of the goal as Mr. Meh gets another one on the board.
Splash. I love the splash. I love the splash goal. But yeah, I mean, again, just great job. Second opportunities are there. They're making sure to capitalize. They're following through the rotations from the teammates to continue the pressure. And right now it's all Greater Altoona here in game number 3.
Yeah, the scoreline is definitely looking a little bit better for Gateway. 3-0, it definitely feels like something you can come back from, especially just after the halfway mark. Steele on the drive, gets bumped by Big Daddy, which is going to stop that, but it sends it up to Mr. Meh. We've seen them do great things up in the air, and unfortunately, it's going to be a bounce off of Gateway, and that's going to bring this to a 4th point on the scoreline.
Yeah, I don't know if that was planned or not. I would certainly lie and tell everybody it was, but nonetheless, a dirty play. 4-0, 1:59 remaining, and again, it's not impossible to come down 4-0 with 2 minutes, but it's certainly a very difficult feat, and even more difficult with the way that this Greater Altoona team has been playing. We see a rare double commit there, and fortunately for them, not going to come back to haunt them. We'll see if Gateway can mix things up and find a goal or two here before this one expires.
Yeah, 1:40 sitting on the clock as Square comes rolling out. Sargent with the challenge brings it up into the air. They're coming back. Gateway is on the drive, but Mr. Meh sends it all the way back to the corner, and everybody now is moving over to Gateway. The blocks are in. The bounces are coming in as well. There's a lot of traffic in front of that Gateway goal. Sargent gets the clear, sends it sailing. We've got a soft flyer here, stopped by Square. So a little bit of an odd shot, but once again, Altoona is able to get back in time to stop things. This Gateway team just doesn't seem to be slightly as fast as they need to be. And if they could maybe get some boost management, I know in the last goal, the stats had Altoona owning a lot of that boost. So I don't know. The speed is all Altoona right now.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think both of these teams have a very similar skill set, but right now this Greater Altoona team is just quicker. They're getting to the ball. They're not really hesitating. It's almost if they have maybe a little more confidence, especially after those first couple games, but they're not hesitating. The rotations are there. They're attacking. They have confidence in their teammates that they'll be there to back them up. So, Greater Altoona now starting to run away with game 3. It does look like indeed we'll need to get out those brooms. 2 phenomenal series so far for us as we hit that 45-second mark.
Yeah, the talent is on display. It'll be interesting to see what happens when these those two teams being Forest Hills and Altoona meet up. But right now, we got another goal on the board from Mr. Meh. Just going to take a look at the stats real quick. 3 goals for Meh, sitting in second right now, with 5 shots. So looking pretty good, over 50%.
Yeah, and already able to have a hat trick as well. So who doesn't love a hat trick? Now the 50 or the kickoff, excuse me, going in the favor of Greater Altoona. Now square up top, looking for the one off the wall. The defense there from Cooligan now pressuring out and good counterattack. Mr. May on the back pedal looks to carry this one up and over the net here. Looking for that reset. Going to be a little too much power going wide. As Steele looks to settle down here. Fires toward the back of the net. P. Daddy going to grab this one off the back wall. Pop Puke able to find a demo as well. And we'll see if they can get some pressure off this. Guess
all
not.
The pressure is coming out of Altoona all the way from one side with a nice backboard defense. Carries this one into Gateway territory, trying to get that clear. But, I'm noticing a lot of these clears for Gateway are heading into the center of the pitch, and there's always somebody from Altoona camping in the midfield.
Yeah, their third man has just been phenomenal all day. And, little own goal there, maybe looking for a Brazil, not sure.
Yeah, it's an odd roll too off a kickoff. It's so slow, and they're both coming in here off that bump. It's just how do you curl around fast enough to clear that? And there you go, 7-1 on the scoreline. 7 seconds left to go. We'll see if they can get anything else on the board. But as of right now, this Altoona squad, week 3, is looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, I mean, after today, I see Forest Hills, Greater Altoona at the top. That's certainly going to be a banger of a match in the future. But hats off to the Goats. I mean, if you're going to be the Goats, you got to come out playing. They certainly did that here today, sweeping Gateway in a 3-0 fashion. Guys, we got more exciting Rocket League action coming up, though. I know I'm certainly it's been 2 great series so far. I imagine we got 2 more ahead of us here, Panda.
Yeah, we got Bishop Carroll up against United, Penn Trafford up against Winburn. So the Rocket League doesn't stop. This match does, and it stops in great fashion for Greater Altoona. But we do have more Rocket League to come. So don't go anywhere. Excuse me. We'll take a quick break as we load into the next game. Welcome back, everybody. And like we said, we do have more Rocket League for you, and it's going to be Bishop Carroll versus United. We just saw two really nice matches coming out for two of these teams, looking incredibly talented at the top of the division. But we've got our third match for the evening, for the afternoon. Again, Bishop Carroll versus United.
Yeah, Bishop Carroll, you had mentioned during that break there, 0-2, unfortunately, but against two of those top undefeated teams. So now going against another top undefeated team, United, 2-0. So I guess the big question, Panda, is can they find the upset? Will the underdog secure a win here today on stream, or will United remain one of those undefeated teams?
Yeah, it's a good question because last week when Bishop Carroll went up against Altoona, they went to game 4, so they were able to get a dub up against the Altoona team that we just saw. Very talented, and that could be a deciding factor here. I mean, there are several teams in this league, so just because you're undefeated right now, 2-0, it doesn't really tell the whole story of what your season has been like. As we do jump in 5 seconds on the clock countdown, Max is going to bump this one back into the center of the field as BC is sitting there camping, waiting for something to happen. Italian is coming over here, putting this one into the side wall, and it's going to be 3 triple committing over there for United early on. So far, so good for both teams. Everyone's at 0-0. Compared to the last couple of games, that actually might feel pretty good.
Yeah, both these teams, a lot of times we see them kind of feeling each other out, but both these teams are just fast all over the field right now. It's been a little bit hectic, some pong back and forth as we look to see him subtle and, but worst player. I don't know if that name is very suiting as they find the first one here, 4:22 on the clock, and United will be up 1-0.
Yeah, worst player last week was putting up some serious action and some good work. So excited to see them get something on the board early as we see the next kickoff happening. FaZe Gamer coming out, sending this one over. Italian's going to send this one at the top of the key, but unfortunately, Ludo is there to bring this one down. So that top corner was looking pretty good, but not able to make anything happen. Max, though, sets one up. Italian is there for another shot on goal, and it's not going to happen either. So trying relentlessly to get something in the goal, but the defense is strong, and it's looking good.
Yeah, 1-0 on the board here, and as you mentioned, a little bit closer knit of a game so far, and maybe a bit of a miscue. That is unfortunate. Kind of just hang your head and hope it doesn't haunt you too much. You've got to take a deep breath and let that go. An easy stop. Just, unfortunately, BC Esports over the head there, maybe a little bit of a miscue, and that goal hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, just the wrong flick of the stick or just the camera comes in at a little bit of a weird angle. I know in my history, it's anticipating it and hoping that you get it right and then you get it wrong. So I've been there, done that for sure. Still only up by 2. So, my vote is that Bishops can get something on the board coming in as Italian, and they're going to do it right now just like that.
Yeah, I love it. I love the way they're fighting back here. We see BCE just getting in there, finding the car and creating some bumps, but Italian following up on that ball, able to find the goal, and we'll see if they can't get the equalizer here soon.
Yeah, they get through 2 on defense and 1 other on the side just in case there's a rebound, but they are able to get something happening there with 3:30 left. The ball goes off to the side wall. Going to be carrying this one out as Italian. It's a little bit of a pass. Oh, it goes over. Ludo is able to catch this one and keep the drive alive for United. In the top of the key, the ball rolls off to the side. Let's not miss this one, and they don't. Italian with a little bit of a backup from Max is going to get this one cleared, and now we're seeing a drive for Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job of settling down. It was a little hectic in the beginning, but now kind of in their play style, we see the rotation seem to be a little more on point. And as I say that, Ludo fires one wide and to the left. The counterattack coming quickly here, Max, with a nice touch to chip it up. And there we have it, Bishop Carroll with the equalizer, 2:51 on the clock.
A little bit slow to start, but they're probably feeling pretty good now as they bring us basically back to 0-0 on the scoreline. Bit of a change here after the first minute or so. This Bishop Carroll team is looking pretty strong and confident, able to get through multiple defenses and follow-ups to get them back in this game.
Ludo on an attempt here. Max, who's been a powerhouse here in the last couple of minutes, carries it out. Worst player now. Touch across mid. Looks to carry it back in the other direction. But Italian is there waiting. Well read to sniff this one out again off the wall as well. And putting in some good work as Italian. Worst player, though. Able to find the booming clear. Max will settle and look to carry him back in the other direction. And again, a little more of this Pong play style than we're used to in these first two series.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful defense, but it's not strong enough. Just there to get a little bit of a tap. But the clear is nowhere. And that's just going to bring Italian right up from the middle, bring this one back in. So, yeah, the Pong game ends as Bishop Carroll takes a lead. They were down by 2 early, and now they are up by 1. That must feel really nice as these two teams are looking very even and very equal.
Yeah, I mean, to battle back like that and that quickly as well, stringing together a nice couple set of goals, finding themselves up on top. The roles reversed. 2 minutes left on the clock. Worst player looking for a little razzle dazzle of their own. The pass to Ludo, but the shot's going to be wide and to the left face into the corner, looking for more. But Italian now in the other direction. Ludo, though, able to get back in time. Not really the clear they wanted, though, and they have to be careful down here in this danger zone.
Yeah, bringing this one around on a drive. Ludo is challenged by 2. The ball stops. Max comes in as well. Worst player now, and a little bit of a double commit to try and get that one in and just to shove it into the goal. It doesn't work, and instead it sends it to Max, who comes up, and it's just blocked by FaZe off the back wall. Italian's going to take a shot too. Second chance here, bringing it down. Almost a rule 1. But that's going to open things up as instead of defense, now we're sitting on offense. Worst player, namesake is complete lie. Sends this one up as a nice pass to Ludo. But they just can't get through. United is not looking like the team we saw first minute and a half.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, you know, Bishop Carroll has really kind of found their way. They look very comfortable out here. The rotation's on point, not getting overly aggressive until the opportunity is there. But over the head of Max, FaZe looking to get one more. The double commit coming out from Bishop as well. But this one not going to come back to haunt him. Max now looks to carry across midfield. Worst player looks to settle, pops one up. A nice carry as well into the corner here. And Max waiting patiently, finds the touch now in front of the net. Can they get it? FaZe just a little shy, can't get there in time, and we're nearing the 30-second mark.
30 seconds on the clock, rolling down. Ludo in the corner, trying to get a clear. What they want is a goal in their favor, and unfortunately, that's a pass going all the way to Bishop Carroll. Sets one up in the front of the key. Max sends one right down. Nobody from Bishop Carroll is there to clean this one up, and instead they send one over to FaZe Gamer. Drops it down. It's slowly rolling, and it's going to be blocked by Max. 15 seconds to go. You know that United wants this, and I think that Ludo's going to try and make a change for it.
Yeah, I mean, 7 seconds here, one last chance opportunity, but again, time ticking away. Now they're about to expire. Regulation in front of the net, and they can't get it. I thought for a second maybe they were going to tie it up, but what a first game here. This Series 3 could be the best one yet.
That was a beauty, and so close to try and carry that one in at the buzzer. Bishop Carroll takes 3 goals. They were down by 2. And they went on a serious stretch there and did a lot of good work to put that one down. But look at United. Everybody getting some serious touches, but Bishop Carroll is just a little bit more accurate, and they're able to make something happen.
Yeah, able to get a couple more shots as well, and just kind of being that relentless firing squad. You know, as they say, if you keep shooting, one is bound to fall. So able to sneak in just one more than the opposition here. United, though, going to come out swinging, I think, here in game number 2. Certainly they don't want to let that undefeated record slip. So I expect to see a fire here from United in game number 2.
Oh, I think United came out and thought they had a walk. And we saw 2 early goals, and then Bishop turned it on. They hit the ignition switch. They did something, and everything changed. So I think United's just they're sitting back and they're thinking, where did things go wrong? What happened, and how do we change it? And I'm honestly not entirely sure what that's going to be. Bishop Carroll came on late. It took about 2 minutes for them to do something, so there wasn't really a lot of game experience to kind of make some moves for United.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, it's that first game, you got to get that first game out of the way. So I think the second game is going to tell us a lot. If United can come out swinging, if they can find a win here, I think we're going to have a great series. However, if Bishop Carroll takes this one, we very well could have another sweep on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, but these two teams are definitely looking a little bit even. I think this one could go both ways. I think United's going to turn this one up. Worst player, although getting a little bit of a on-team action with the bump there, bringing this one down. BC Esports is going to drop this one over to Max, sends it into the corner. All three orange cars are there. Get somebody in goal. Shot is going to be off the top bar. No second chance there. FaZe is passing this one over, brings it to the center field. So Bishop Carroll, relentless, just as we anticipated, but United is on the offense as well.
Yeah, now finally getting a nice attack and over the middle. One of those shots that just kind of finds its way. We can see the defense floating through the air, trying to find a stop. Italian as well, but can't quite get there. And United will find themselves on top here again. But the real question is, can they hold on? It seems like Bishop Carroll seems to be a second half team.
Yeah, they've been in this position before. Bishop Carroll knows they can bring this back. United should definitely not be comfortable here. 2-0 probably felt comfortable last game, and that was completely not true. So they got to still fight. They have to make this happen and just be relentless. FaZe up on the top bar, but worst player is there as well, and that's going to leave only one on the pitch, and that opens them up for a Bishop Carroll offense. As Eskimo is here, brings this one bouncing down. Max sends it all the way downfield into the corner. No one is back there for United as the goal is looking open, and Max takes the shot. Opportunity, Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, third man just getting out of position here. We see FaZe last chance opportunity, but going too quick. The ball over the head, and Max able to touch it in. 1-1. They find the equalizer. And much like game number one, Bishop Carroll here battling back, and United has to be careful.
Yep. Too comfortable, too aggressive, United being too far forward, and you can't sleep on this Bishop Carroll team. You give them an inch, they ride that thing all the way into the corner. Max with a beautiful read, curls right in front of the net to tap it in. Worst player here, passes it back to FaZe. Beautiful pass, sends it up into the center. Ludo with the shot onto the sidebar, and Max is able to get the block. It looked so good for United to get back in this game and get the lead again, but we see Bishop Carroll is able to be offense, defense, and everywhere they need to be.
Nice pinch here from worst player, though. Carries it out, but the defense still here. FaZe looking to keep it alive. Does just that. The second touch, not there. One more. Ludo looks to settle down, but it's fired again. A booming clear. Worst player able to get back in time, but Max has been all over these. Max is reading these plays so well and putting himself in great positioning to stop these United attacks.
Yeah, all these players have been in the right spot, but we see a lot of Max making some clutch plays here. The challenge comes in from BC Esports, sends it off to the side. Not the clear you want at all, but that one does look a lot better, but it's straight to Max. Sends it into the corner himself, drops it down, fakes it a little bit, sends it over to Ludo. Up in the air, we see Italian bringing it down, follows through to Max once again. This player is everywhere. They've been a part of almost every single play. And I think we're going to see a whole lot of them the rest of this game.
Yeah, almost a little like Pig B, just saying their name over and over as Max finding himself in all the action here. Worst player kind of coagulating together with the teammate, though. Ludo's going to get a self bump, able to regain, gabs the ball. Worst player with the touch across midfield as well. And now the teammate not there. FaZe just over the head. I think Italian maybe got a small touch. The whiff coming out from BCE as well. And FaZe looks to regain. All tied up at one here. A double commit as well. And they have to be careful. Maybe the communication starting to crumble a bit.
Yeah, United had an opportunity. Yes, Max was in goal, but they got the skills, and Max goes all the way from one side to the other to get another goal. Goal 2 for the day for Max for this game. And it's a little bit off a worst player, too. Unfortunate for them that's going to be going in to bring them up 2-1 as we see the next kickoff coming off. Worst player sending this one into the corner. Curls all the way back. Ludo sending the shot straight to Max. Brings this one out off to the side. A beautiful pass. It's going to be off the top of the backboard. Sending someone to the key. Not going to be there. FaZe Gamer bringing this up. Ludo coming in the second position. Nice little pass. They aren't double committing, which is looking good. Shots on goal. And there's 2 in defense. And that's going to stop the drive.
Yeah, Bishop Carroll winning that first game by 1 as well. So United has plenty of time left here. But again, they've got to find some good plays together, maybe getting a little careless here and getting too aggressive in that third man position as Max on the counterattack. A good mid position here by Worst, looking to carry it back in. A nice touch across midfield. BCE waiting, though. Will find the save as we hit the minute mark. Worst player looking for one more off the wall. Ludo a little too far forward, but FaZe coming in. And we talked about those double commits. They can haunt you sometime, but FaZe reading this one, knowing Ludo can't get there, able to secure the goal. We're all tied up yet again.
Yeah, beautiful play. They had the space. You see the triangle that was United on that offense. They had somebody in every position. They set it up beautifully, and they had somebody back there when the goal was open to take the shot. If we'd seen a little bit more of that out of United earlier in this game, I do not think we'd be seeing an even score line. Just like that, FaZe puts one in, and now United is up by 1.
Yeah, FaZe really coming alive here now, feeling it. Certainly, what a little play that was. The redirection as well. A nice pass from Worst Player. And now they find themselves up late in this game, looking to tie the series up.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe with 3 goals on the day. That things have changed, but we saw Bishop Carroll down earlier. We saw them down in game 1, and they came back to win it. So they are definitely not out. As we see some traffic happening in front of that United goal. Coming all the way back, though, Ludo is going to secure one, and that's going to bring him to 4. That this time being up by 2 probably feels pretty good.
Yeah, and even if it ends like this, the score not reflecting how close the game was there. Obviously, Bishop Carroll being a little extra aggressive there, trying to find that equalizer in the last 30 seconds. But looks like we might see this series all tied up 1-1, and we might have our best set of games here yet tonight.
Oh, yeah, tons of action out of both these teams, and I think you're right, a little bit too aggressive. They wanted the equalizer as fast as they could, and instead it cost them this game as we see the 10-second timer ticking down. Italian tries to get a shot. It's going to send it off to the sidewall, and that's going to pretty much all but do it for this Bishop Carroll team in Game 2, and United must be feeling really nice because I'm sure that in Game 1, they thought they already had it in the first minute and a half. And now they're up by 2 again, and they're feeling pretty good. So I think this United team going into Game 3 has the confidence they thought they might have had in Game 1.
Yeah, United with 8 shots, Bishop with just 5 this time. We saw Bishop having more possession last time, having 2 more shots as well. So again, United doing a great job of switching up the play style, creating that pressure as well, and kind of keeping that ball on that Bishop Carroll side. Relentless with the shots. We saw FaZe Gamer with a couple dirty ones, a hat trick as well. Ludo able to secure one off 2 assists from Worst, who, obviously Worst didn't get a goal there, but was really the big playmaker in the majority of that action for United in game number 2.
Yeah, if you look at the boost consumption, United with 3,000 more boosts, that must have been what was turning things up in the second half of this match, because that is a ton of boost, and that is the speed you need against a team like we saw out of Bishop Carroll. Relentless. Bishop Carroll, first game, coming back, getting a dub, being up in game 2, and United was able to squeak things out and make something happen. They had the ball possession in United's favor. Tons of boost and touches all across the field. All the players for United were able to get a part of that ball, and that's what led them to win.
Yeah, I mean, we really saw FaZe step it up in game number 2 as well. Wasn't as active in that first one, but always rotating around, just always being on that ball as well. I mean, obviously he got the hat trick as well. So I'm excited that United was able to battle back here in game number 2, tie the series up. Certainly going to be a great one here for the rest of it.
Yeah, and FaZe, even though they got the 3 goals, they did not have the most touches. That came from Worst Player with those 2 assists, which just goes to show being MVP, it's nice, but being part of the game is what leads to a lot of that. So if Bishop Carroll is going to try and get back into this, I think they're going to have to figure out a way to open up some passing, open up the rest of the field. We've seen a lot out of Max. We've seen a lot of Italian. I think we just need to see more consistency out of all 3 of these Bishop Carroll players, and we need to see it early. They can't just be sitting and waiting for that comeback.
Yeah, Worst Player may have not been the MVP of the last game, but was certainly the playmaker, creating all of those opportunities as well on the other side of the field, as well as some phenomenal saves. So again, they need to find an answer here. Bishop Carroll did a great job attacking in game number 1 in that second half. So they need to try to apply that same type of pressure here. We'll see if they can do just that as United on that hunt. They smell blood now with a game in their bag as well. And there's the attack from Worst, making it happen again to FaZe. And they find an early one here with 4:23.
Yeah, looking good, looking clean. FaZe Gamer coming out. It's a little bit of a tip off of Max as well. We do have a sub coming in. Boy Racing is the newest player out there for Bishop Carroll, so a little bit of a change of the roster. See how this plays out. Kickoff is going to go into the corner to that Boy Racing player. It's going to be Worst player versus Boy Racing. Max is in goal. Nice little pass to the back. Ludo's going to stop this and send it all the way back up slowly. Italian taking the defense, but he just barely misses as FaZe is up in the air trying to get another one on the board.
Yeah, it looks like United is now being a little bit more of that aggressing team. We can see a lot of the action, a lot of that fast-paced momentum coming from their cars. So we'll see if Italian and crew can try to slow things down and change it up in their favor. Right now, Ludo on the attack. A nice touch here as well. Flirting in front of the net. What a play from Ludo.
Oh my gosh, just watch this, just floating in slow motion, trying to stay up as long as possible. Oh, Max and Italian both trying to get a piece of it, and they can't. And it's just being in the right place and following through, not getting out of the way, just staying right there for the last possible touch. And it pays off. United up by 2 early, comparatively, to the last 2 games. I mean, this is the first game United that we saw, and I know Bishop Carroll's trying to get that first game win, just like they did.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to battle back here again. Max on that pressure, fires one just to the left. Not enough. FaZe kind of gets tangled up there as well. The whip from Ludo, a wide open net. Worst unable to get the car onto the ball as well as FaZe looks to pressure this one out, try to slow it down as things got a bit hectic there. Ludo, nice touch into the corner, wrapping around across the net as well as Max will carry this one out. A booming play, looks to reset and grab some more boost, but FaZe, the third man on the attack. Worst was going up, but I think that one took a slightly different bounce than anticipated off that back wall.
Yeah, the drive is all United right now, and what we're not seeing is those double commits that were plaguing them in the first 2 games. A shot is going to be off, but Max is here for the second attempt. Up in the air, bringing it down, slowly faking, but not fast enough. Ludo is going to pull that one off to the sidewall, sets it up for FaZe. FaZe brings it over to the corner, challenged by Max, but the read is beautiful, setting this one up off the top corner. It's bouncing in the favor of Ludo as United takes a drive here, trying to get a third on the board, and they are relentless, sending this one to the key.
Yeah, you don't hear me say this very often, but Max looking pretty fly with a visor out there, repping that and that light blue car, as he's been very talented here in the first 2 games, but kind of struggling to get things going here in game number 3 now with a role reversal across midfield, but the defense waiting there. The 50 popped high and dry. Italian's going to whip this one as well, floating down. Ludo looks to carry across midfield. Worst on the counter attack. FaZe there for the third man, finds the touch back into the corner across the net. Can they get it? Italian there. The attack wasn't coming. The opportunities, though, have been just relentless for United.
Yeah, Boy Racing getting in the goal and being where they need to be for some clutch saves on that drive, and that's keeping the scoreline at 0-2 for United, even though they've been trying relentlessly with 6 shots so far for this matchup. So, I mean, the saves and everything is in Bishop Carroll's favor, except the scoreline. They've got to turn this thing around and turn it up, get aggressive. I don't know if it was that roster change or what, but this United team is looking very put together. They're looking like the communication that we saw from Bishop Carroll has been switched over to United. Worst player sending this one into the corner. It's a beautiful pass. Boy Racing, great defensive posturing, is going to send this one over. Max bringing it down, setting up a little bit of a drive. It's going to be stalled by Ludo. Max up in the air, past to Boy Racing and Italian, but they're both out of position, and this sets up a serious open goal situation for Ludo, slowly bringing it down, and it's going to drop it in by Worst player. That took everyone.
Dirty shot. Yeah, that was a dirty shot. And, you know, you got to wonder, too, if that sub Boy Racing coming in here, if that does affect the team. Obviously, it's kind of hard, or can be hard, to, after you have a couple games under your belt, to randomly throw that sub in there. So maybe that's a little bit to do with what's going on here in game number 3, but nothing to take away from this phenomenal United squad and the string of plays that they're putting together.
Yeah, that last one was very nicely done. We saw a little bit of every player from United getting a little bit of that action. We do see 3 goals for United, 1 goal each. We talked about that in the break between the 2 games, how much they were able to play together and to get everybody on board, and we're seeing that here. Boy Racing, though, does have 2 saves and a shot on goal, so they're definitely getting to be a part of the action, but we're just not seeing that Bishop Carroll connectivity that we saw earlier, or we're just seeing United switching things up and putting it on relentlessly.
Yeah,
Just
we're
like that.
able to find another one. I think the biggest factor here as well is this just the simple shots on goal, whether they're good or not. We see again Bishop Carroll with only sitting currently at 4 shots to 9. The only game that they won was the game that they had more shots. So unable to get the ball down to possession on the opposite side of the field, unable to get those opportunities as well. As I think United has really just kind of picked up the pace and are just a little bit quicker at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit quicker, a little bit spaced out, able to pick up these plays. We are seeing a lot of action where all the players from United were able to get in on it. So they're setting up the rebounds, they're setting up the plays, and they're just able to just bounce around and get around this Bishop Carroll defense. Taking a look now, United, of course, have ball possession boost all day. I mean, almost twice as much boost again. Field domination. They took the stats across the board. And it paid off. I mean, 4-0 is a pretty nice way to head into game 4.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it seemed like United had a lot more ball possession than that, even though it was fairly close with Bishop. I think that big outstanding factor again is that boost consumption. We saw it in game 2 and the first game that they won as well. That the huge difference in that boost consumption number. So I think right now United may be doing a good job of starving Bishop Carroll as well, and they just really haven't seemed to have that same fight that they had in that first game, especially the second half of that first game.
Yeah, the Bishop Carroll team that was down a little bit and then turned it around and came back to win game 1. They did bring in a sub, and we saw some good work coming out of that sub. Boy Racing was able to get some saves and to be part of that goal and trying to stop this United offense. But yeah, they are looking very good. If you're on the United side of the pitch, you're feeling pretty confident. And if you're on Bishop Carroll, you're trying to capture some of that magic from game 1 and see if you can turn it back in as we head into game 4.
Yeah, I think Bishop Carroll obviously has the talent to do it. We saw it in game number 1, but again, consistency is key. And unfortunately for them, it looks like United just slightly stronger, slightly faster here on the pitch tonight. Hopefully Bishop Carroll can turn things around though and tie the series back up. Yeah,
as we see a kickoff going up into worst player's hands. Bringing this one down is going to be Italian on the drive. Bounces back. Max coming in on defense, trying to get a clear here. Bishop Carroll definitely needs to hit the aggressive button early. I don't think they can sleep on any defense. It's a bit risky, but I think they need to show this United team that they aren't just going to sit back and wait for the ball. They don't need to be down. They need to be up, and they've been down a lot in this series. It's time for them to turn it up.
Yeah, already, though, United with that great mid-presence, keeping the ball down here time and time again. A second chance opportunity from FaZe, but that one's going to be high and to the left, unfortunately, is Italian now on the counterattack. A nice booming clear, but again, all members of United already back in position, and we can see them setting up for each other. The pass off the wall is FaZe. Looks to grab one more. Max will find the defense here into the corner, but again, kind of coagulating together as Ludo finds the touch. FaZe across midfield here, and now the counterattack could be a good opportunity here for Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, Ludo coming back, a nice little defensive fly there to bring the ball off the top bar. Huge speed boost coming out of FaZe over here into the corner. Sends one down. It's a little bit too slow, but the defense from Max picks this one up. Sends it over to a double commit. We saw that earlier. It did not work for United. Hopefully they spread themselves out. Ludo up in the air, bringing it down. All 3 United in midfield coming in on the attack. Italian is going to try the 50-50, but misses. Max sitting in goal, coming out with Boy Racing on the drive. We've seen a lot of time of possession early in Bishop Carroll's side, but it looks like now they're on the offense. I say that as they have to rotate back on defense. Max getting taken out. We'll see if United can capitalize on this as worst players up in the air, dropping it down, blocked by Max on the respawn, sends it over. Ludo clearing this one into the midfield with a beautiful pass to FaZe Gamer. Just can't make anything happen. Defense, both of these defense in game 4 is just on lockdown. 2 minutes in, no goals.
Yeah, we had seen a demo there from Ludo as well. We really haven't seen too many demos in this series specifically, but Italian on the counter attack here. Max looking to help, does find a touch, able to take away. Can't get up for the second one, though. Boy Racing, good positioning, able to keep this one alive for Bishop Carroll. But again, the rotation's just not quite as on point. They can't find these second opportunities, and now again find themselves back on defense.
Boy Racing taking this one in the middle. We are seeing a little bit more patience maybe out of Bishop Carroll. So trying to play this one and see where the ball lands before just going full on attack. And I think that's helped them to keep the scoreline at 0-0. Italian now coming out of traffic is going to set this one up to Max. It's an open goal. They get a nice little flick just over the head of the defense. And that's going to be in the top left corner.
Yeah, great for them to come out, find that first goal as well. And surprisingly, 2:17 on the clock, much longer than these first couple games that we've seen. And, much more of a defensive game this time. And I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, a change from both of these teams as we head into game 4. I mean, everything's on the line when it's match point. And you can see that Bishop Carroll wants to get back into this one. Worst player. It's going to stall this in the mid. Oh, it's an open goal. Just kidding. Everybody's there, just hidden by the blue side of the post. FaZe is going to keep this alive. Max, though, steals it, brings it into the midfield, tries to get the demo on the goalie, and that's going to open first player up to drive this one out. I think I see a United player curling around as well for the pass, but the defense is still strong from Bishop Carroll. As they're feeling content with 1-0 on the board, they'd love to get another one, but if they keep this defense up, this is all it's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, it's been all attack here from Bishop Carroll, really roles reversed here in the latter half of this game. We saw it in game 1 as well. If they can maintain this pressure, they should be able to tie the series up. FaZe Gamer, though, wants something else to say about it. Now into the midfield. Worst player looks to tuck it back into the corner. Can he get a touch across? Nearly there, but Italian waiting patiently, booming clear out of the goal, finds the demo as well, but can't get any more off of it. The third man looks to keep it alive. This one's going to bounce over worst player's head. Could be an opportunity here. Max just wide as Ludo will settle it down. Italian into the top right corner, but FaZe somehow saves it yet again. And United has been all against their backs against the wall. Excuse me. They are in trouble.
Yeah, United, I mean, a beautiful defense there to keep the relentless Bishop Carroll onslaught at bay. But they don't need defense. They need offense. They're sitting here in Bishop Carroll's side. Ludo pulls this one off the wall, slowly pulling it down. Boy Racing and Italian in defense. Max is safe and secure to go up for the challenge. Worst player brings it into the corner, trying to find a pass. It's going to be just into the defense again. This Bishop Carroll team has parked the bus. They're okay with 1-0. They're looking to make it to the next game. Worst player, though, on a drive. It's going to be up in the air off the corner is Max. They cannot break through. Bishop Carroll has turned up the heat. It does not matter. And United cannot make it through this Bishop Carroll defense.
Yeah, they really just put 2 in goal. As you had mentioned, comfortable with that 1-goal lead, not wanting to give it up, trying to take this one into game number 5. 5 seconds on regulation. Can they do it? Worst across midfield. There's the touch. Ludo over the head. FaZe looks to keep it alive. Does, but for how long? Not long enough. And Bishop Carroll able to tie the series up. So we are going to head into game number 5.
Yeah, we thought this game might be exciting. We weren't quite sure, but when you look at the records and how these teams have done, I mean, we got a good one. It's always fun to go to game 5. Bishop Carroll turning it on, bringing the drama, making us sweat a little bit here in the booth and everybody watching. I mean, a totally different team out of Bishop Carroll. They shut down United in this game. Ball possession was about 50%. They got a little bit more boost, but even then, I mean, it was all Bishop Carroll.
Yeah, I mean, Max kind of putting the team on the back there, making some huge plays, not just offensively, but 3 incredible saves on that defensive side as well to keep United from tying the game up. So able to go into game number 5, an 0-2 team taking on a 2-0 team, and certainly been very exciting so far.
Yeah, it must feel good seeing just on the precipice of getting that victory, and not just a victory, but a victory to take down someone looking to stay undefeated. So Bishop Carroll, they got to shrug their shoulders. They got to brush the crumbs off from some of these games earlier and say, this is the one that matters. We made it to game 5. We know we can do it. Our defense is unbelievable. Let's just get one on the board early and do what we did in the last game. And that's what's going to take us to victory here.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Hopefully they can steal their first win away and maybe end this united undefeated reign. But certainly both of these teams very equally matched, and you love to have an exciting game like this. Obviously, some of those blowouts with great mechanical skill can be fun to watch. But when it's close like this, it's exciting. You're at the edge of your seat. The players are all very similar in skill level, and it's always for a great time.
Oh yeah, and at game 5, I mean, everything is possible here, right? Exhaustion and mental fatigue is what starts to play in. So that's where I think we might see some breakdowns, and maybe that's what led to Bishop Carroll taking that win last game. Is they just have a little bit more of that stamina, and the question is can they ride that out? As we see a shot on goal, it's going to be a little bit too high. We don't see the characteristic double touch that we have. And it's going to open up a drive here from Italian and the rest of this Bishop Carroll offense.
Yeah, unfortunately, Max just out of boost there. Would have had a great opportunity at a goal, but finding another save now into the counterattack. FaZe doesn't quite get the touch they need. Ludo able to fire back across midfield. FaZe looking for the bump to guide that one in, but Max is there for another save. Now Worst with a nice touch to keep it away, but now the ball floating in midfield. And again, right now, Bishop Carroll maintaining that possession. They are all on the attack, and Italian, that last man, if that could have got over his head, they could have been in some big trouble.
Yeah, bringing this one down. I mean, we say all 3 blue cars parked. They're pulling that strategy out from the end of the last game to see if it can work, at least to stop the offense that is United. Worst player popping this one up, sending it over Max's head. He's going to softly touch this one into the corner. They're going to try and clear this. Boy Racing switching up the car now, going for the more classic Octane instead of the Lamborghini. Max pulling this one over to the sidewall. It's going to be challenged by first player. Brings this one up. They're looking for a pass in the air. It's going to be FaZe bringing it in perfect spot in the middle. Ludo's going to get it off the corner, and it's not going to go in twice, and Max is going to get the break.
How in the world did that not go in? They are relentless, though, and it's only a matter of time before the defense starts to crumble when you are a relentless firing squad. Shot after shot. Ludo finally tucks one into the right. They find an early lead here, 3-0-3. But as we've seen in these last 4 games, that doesn't mean anything just yet.
No, not at all. And left post, right post, finally getting into the center of the goal. I might chalk that up to United's boost starving and the ability to control that boost and that speed as the one goes off the sidewall. Max barely misses there. Dropping down, no one's clearing it yet, and that's a great spot for Max to be. Getting demoed, sends it into the side post. FaZe is going to be able to block this one out. No, 0-1 is not a guaranteed scoreline at all in these games.
Yeah, Ludo has to be incredibly thankful that Max missed that initial shot, but they're going to come right back at him here one more time. A beautiful pass off the back wall from Max. Italian, able to read this one right in, and we have our equalizer already. Didn't take much time.
No, it did not. Being in the right place, the right time, getting back there, seeing a high shot slowly flying up off that top bar is going to look good. And here comes another one. Worst player responding in kind with their own slow floater. And they're going to put this one in and get one back up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, just like that, a back and forth here. It took about 2 minutes to find our first goal, and then just like that, in a matter of 10 seconds, we get a couple more. So it just goes to show you how quickly the pace of the game can change.
Yeah, Bishop Carroll gets a breath of fresh air, bringing it to an equalizer, and just like that, United gets another one on the board, trying to get through off the side post. The ball is slowly rolling out. Ludo's going to be able to pick this one up. Challenged by Max, sends it all the way sailing. Can it come down? It can, but worst player is going to clear it off to the wall, sending it over to Boy Racing. Sends it over to Max, clears it. A little bit of a double commit, sends this one sailing into the corner. United now on the drive, challenged by Italian, looking for that characteristic pass off the sidewall. Worst player up in the air, but Max steals this one. And this Bishop Carroll defense is looking strong, but they do need to turn the offense back up. I'd love to see a little bit more out of Max and Italian, maybe some passing to kind of open up what United's been putting down.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them create some really nice plays in some of these previous games, and Max kind of has been the playmaker for Bishop Carroll, but right now it seems like Max is tucked in that goal or in that net, so maybe a little more aggressive from Max, try to get him across that midfield, set him up with a nice play. We've seen Italian score some good goals as well, But right now on the defense is Bishop Carroll. Boy Racing finds the clear, but worst player able to keep it alive. And they've just done a great job with possession. One high, Max there. Out of the goal now. He's pulled and faced. Fires one high. Ludo on the attack as well. The double commit kind of haunting them there, but worst player will have one more chance. Firing back and forth, and there it is. Only a matter of time.
1 minute on the clock. Again, this was the relentless onslaught that we saw early that got us that first United goal. Back and forth, back and forth. But the only problem is the back and forth is between the backboard and United. And eventually they do break through. They get 2 on the board. Now we've seen some two goal deficits be overcome. But with a minute left, United, they're probably feeling pretty confident. Bishop, they got to turn something on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. And there it is. You know, I was just getting ready to say that you want to give yourself at least 30 seconds per goal. Typically, obviously, goals come faster than that. But Boy Racing coming from the backfield with a fury, able to sneak this one in. 48 seconds left. Plenty of time to find the equalizer. And we'll see if Bishop Carroll can do just that. We could be looking at an overtime in game number 5.
Yeah, 45 seconds to go. Bishop Carroll turning up the heat. Getting a nice little demo there. It's going to open things up. Max rolling back on defense. We've seen some great dribble plays. Trying to get a little fake, a little sneaky right there. Max doesn't bite it. Italian and Max over onto the sidewall on defense. Ludo's looking good. It's going to be challenged by 2 Bishop Carroll defenders. Boy Racing drops this one down to Max. Pops it over slowly, curling around. They're going to drop it. 22 seconds left. We are even and tied up.
You know, and I talked about them needing to get Max out there. He's been the playmaker, and you see why right here with the red visor, making it look easy. Great aerial control as he drives it in. 22 remaining. Will we see an overtime here, Panda?
Such fine motor control of that car. I can't believe Max was able to curl that one around and get it in with 14 seconds to go. Worst player is coming up. Phase with the pass off the sidewall. Max getting the clear. Sends it over into the corner. Worst player looking for the cross, but instead it goes to Max with just a few seconds left. Now they just want to get this thing on the ground. Bring it one up. Italian keeps it up. Worst player keeps it up. It's going to go over to Max, who keeps it up as well. 0-0-0, finally bringing us to overtime. Sudden death, this is it. It's all on the table. Bishop Carroll United, I have no idea where this one's going.
Yeah, you know, Bishop Carroll down by 2 with less than a minute left, able to find 2 goals in there to tie this one up. Now in this best of 5, winner takes all here today in this final overtime as Boy Racing looks to carry it out in a tough position, though. Worst player has a teammate over to Ludo, and just like that, doesn't even need him. Worst player finds it 20 seconds into overtime. And United able to stay undefeated as they'll go up 3-0 on the season. Honestly, Bishop Carroll 0-3, but they fought 2 really, really tough teams that have come down. They've won games. They took some from Greater Altoona, as you had mentioned as well. So I think that this Bishop Carroll team is certainly going to be a sleeper team.
Oh my goodness, that their record shows nothing what they're capable of doing. I expect everybody should be afraid of this Bishop Carroll team as they're progressing and playing through the division. They're only going to get better. 7 saves from Max in this game. Just beautiful play. Able to come back as well. Game 1, we saw them down and they turned it around. Game 5, they were down and they turned it around. Just not able to turn it around enough as United does get the win.
Yeah, again, that boost consumption was that biggest gap in number there. We saw time and time again. So, and honestly, we talked about Max being that playmaker, really scoring some nice goals, kind of stuck on that defensive side from the pressure of United, though. We saw 7 crazy saves from Max. So, again, hats off to both teams. Fortunately for United, they will remain undefeated. One of just a few teams left undefeated here so far.
Yeah, a lot of action, a lot of things shaping up as we move through week 3, but we're not done yet. We still have one more matchup for your afternoon, depending on where you are. We're going to take a really quick break, just make sure everybody's locked into the game, and we'll be right back. What's up, everybody? We're back. The last games of the night. It's going to be Penn Trafford, Winburn. We just got done cooling off after that extremely insane matchup. But now, you know, we still got some more Rocket League for you. Hot sauce, you feeling okay after that one?
Oh yeah, hot and spicy as always. A true banger there into the best of 5 and an overtime. You couldn't ask for a better series, especially for Bishop Carroll. You know, 0-2. You think all 0-2 here's versus a 2-0 team. I guess just to show you how talented they are and how tough their schedule has been so far. But up next, the final game of the night, as you had mentioned, Penn Trafford 1-1 on the season, taking on Winburn, who is unfortunately 0-2. Looking to come out hot and grab their first win. Thoughts on this matchup here, Panda?
Well, if I understand it, Winburn had also a tough early part of the season. They played some pretty serious teams, and so we've seen the strength of this division, and it's a nice spread. So this could be an opportunity for them to get back in this one. Oh, as we get a nice little block from the PT Cruiser out there, keeping the scoreline at 0-0. Also getting back up in the air is PT Cruiser bringing it down. Nikki into the corner, trying to get a pass. Trying to get across, picks up the boost to make it happen. Sends one into the key. Pluto misses just barely. We see a zinger flying all the way down. And Burb is going to get the first one from an unfortunate deflection from Nikki.
Yeah, that just hurts, right? I mean, those goals, that's part of Rocket League. Those things happen from time to time. There's just not much you can do about it. Luckily for Winber, though, it happened early, right? So plenty of time left here to find that equalizer, to battle back and get on top. As we see Pluto doing just that on a quick goal across midfield through the air.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you want to do off a kickoff. It's a beautiful kickoff setup for Pluto, being in the right place to come in and get this one. I mean, that's the kind of bad clear that can set you up to get scored on. But on a kickoff, that is just perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. Burb now bringing this one down. Nightmare is going to curl this one into side. Nice little pass to Nikki, but unfortunately it's going to be stalled. Now we're seeing Winber on their back feet, their back tires here, trying to get another goal up here. Pluto on the drive, looking pretty clean up in the air, but it's going to be double commit, stalled and blocked by Burb and the PT Cruiser.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen some of these new Rocket League skins that were just released. I know Optics and G2. I think KCP recently got some new skins, but none of those on the field here just yet. As the PT Cruiser rocking the Octane. Maybe an oxymoron there. Carries across midfield. Now in front of the orange net. Nikki looks to settle. And I think maybe just a misflick of the stick there. Looked like they hit the bicycle when they were trying to jump forward.
Yeah, Nikki here coming in, trying to get the clear off the top, and it's just a little bit of that sensitivity possibly on the joystick, and it just sets up an easy one for Penn Trafford, but I wouldn't say that sets the tone for anything. Both these teams are looking pretty good. Just a few unfortunate mistakes, but I don't see any reason why Winber can't get another. They did get that first goal against them from Penn Trafford on a unfortunate clear, just a pinch kind of situation, but I think Winber has got it in them to bring this one back to.
Yeah, I mean, I have to 100% agree with that. Penn Trafford, honestly, both of their goals kind of came off of a fluke as well, and were kind of given up easily. So I think, Winber kind of settles down here a little bit, gets those little first game jitters out of the way, and Pluto has made some really great progress across midfield as well. We've seen great aerial control from Pluto as well. Nikki fires one just to the left. Second chance opportunity from Pluto isn't there, and now Burb on the counter attack as Nightmare tries to get back in time. A little bit of a whiff coming out. The ball in the danger zone as Nikki misses as well. PT Cruiser can't get the touch they need. Nightmare on the save, and Winber in a little bit of trouble right here.
Yeah, Cowden is trying to put this one through. I mean, we saw a nice little stall drive, but they're not able to get it through. Winber sitting on their back tires here. Oh, but Pluto, we've seen some good aerials out of Pluto. Sends this one up past the defense. PT Cruiser is able to stall this and bring it down. Curling back around, cutting rotation a little bit. It's going to be Pluto. It's going to try and keep this alive for Winber. Challenged up in the air. Nikki's got the speed and the better of it. Nightmare is just a little bit out of position. Pluto now with the drive, slowly bringing it down. It's looking pretty good for Nightmare, but the whiff is unfortunate, and that's going to leave one sitting on the table, crumbs and all for Winber.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to secure that goal, find the equalizer. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Time to regain, though. Nikki at midfield does get bumped out the way. Now mid, looking to carry this one in. A nice pass and an easy goal for the PT Cruiser.
Beautiful pass here, too, as we see a nice touch off the air, sending it to PT is going to make that one happen. So not okay with the challenge enough. Sends it over to the teammate to bring us to 3-1 on the score line for Penn Trafford. Looking pretty good in game one. We'll see if Winber can just clean up a few of these little mistakes and get back in this one.
Well, already on the attack is Penn Trafford here as well. Going to miss that one. Nightmare looks to carry out. Nikki off the corner wall and get some pressure as well. The flick not quite there. PT on the stop. Back to midfield. Here's Pluto. Looks to bring this one up. Can he get the shot? No. Mid is there with a clean D. Nikki looking to keep this one alive as well. But now the pressure mounting here from Penn Trafford on the counter attack. Pluto looks to settle this one down. Burb fires. The defense is there. Nightmare on the save mid. Looking to get one more. Nikki there this time. Able to keep this one out, though. The ball still in that danger zone. And these shots are coming nonstop from Penn Trafford. Winber has to find a way to get it out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not going to be able to. Relentless defense. We've seen the offense in a lot of these games use the tactic of just get the rebound and keep forcing it and forcing it and forcing it, and it finally goes through. They couldn't get that clear, and it pays off for Penn Trafford. So many good defensive plays, though, for Winber. We already have 3 saves for Nightmare out of there. So it's definitely not for a lack of trying. It's just relentless out of this Penn Trafford offense in the second half of this game.
Ooh, and as we're talking about it, mid is going to find another. Penn Trafford really starting to run away with this one. 102 is a decent amount of time. It's ideally not. Ideally, they won't make the comeback, but it can happen. Hopefully, they can find a couple goals. Though we've seen Pluto with 5 or 6 shots already, just can't seem to find the back of the net.
Oh yeah, Pluto has definitely been the playmaker so far, trying to get things past Penn Trafford. We see once again trying to go off the sidewall. Here, curling back around, challenged by the blue squad. So even though they're definitely making their way up the field, Nikki here in the front corner trying to make something happen, but I don't know if they need to spread things out a little bit. Someone needs to come up with Pluto. Nightmare seems to be staying in the goal. So this is game 1. They're testing things out up against this Penn Trafford team. And so as the timer ticks down, they're going to be thinking about what they can do in the next game to change things up.
Yeah, I mean, Nightmare certainly does seem to be the designated goalie. We see them kind of rotating always back to the goal there again. But I would like to see a little more rotations from the whole team as well. I think sometimes if you just stick to one specific goalie, it kind of affects the rotations, as we see Nightmare unable to he got back to the goal, but really couldn't get there in time to turn around and make pressure outward.
Yeah, you got to have all players moving. That's how you keep that momentum going. And usually that's how you make the rotations work. We see a shot over here on the blue side of the pitch, but it's a little bit too wide. PT Cruiser brings this one down. Nightmare posturing in the goal to make a save happen, but they don't have to worry about it as Pluto curls up the field. Ball is going to stop. Penn Trafford is going to take game 1. Looking pretty good out there. But if you look back at this, I think there's a few things that Winberg could change to get them back in this. We saw a pretty good looking Winberg at the beginning of this match, and I'm just curious what they did and what changed, because they were looking pretty strong at the first minute or so.
Well, I mean, if you look at the stats realistically, they're almost the same for every member across the board. Even possessions, very similar, boost consumption. The biggest difference here is the touches from Nightmare. And you see that he was stuck in that goal. 4 saves, really not allowing him to pressure out, be that third man, keep that ball on that Penn Trafford side. I think they need to get Nightmare a little more active here if they want to have a better chance at securing one of these games.
Yeah, and 4 saves is great. You definitely want to see 4 saves, but unfortunately, not enough. They needed 6 more to get a win out of that one. And I think you're right. Rotating out a little bit, being a little bit more aggressive, not being afraid to get out of the goal and trust your teammates. I mean, Pluto is the playmaker. It looks like we've seen some really nice attempts, some aerials coming off the sidewall, and some spins, and able to get past the defense. But they need some help. You got to have the whole team out there when you're going forward. So I want to see Nightmare get out of that goal and make some things happen. I think they've got the ability to do it. But if they don't, Penn Trafford is going to be able to just keep the same style going, and they're gonna have a much better time in game 2 if Winberg doesn't change things up.
Yeah, I think a few of these teams could take some notes from Forest Hills as well. I mean, they had so many demos in that first game. We really had, and obviously on their side, a little extreme, but we really haven't seen many demos in these last few games as well. And I think with a team like Winberg, who's looking for a little more position, or even to get Nightmare a little more active, it could be something that they could use in their repertoire.
Yeah, practicing the demos never really hurts. I mean, as we definitely saw it to being used to great effect with Forest Hills. But if you are going to be more of a defensive player, then having that tactical ability, having that defensive accuracy to zip out of there and get a demo when someone's coming out could definitely be a benefit. So we'll see what happens. Get back into this game. 30 seconds down so far, still 0-0 on the scoreline. So Winberg feeling good. They did lose that last game 6-1, but this is the kind of start that they would like to see. They don't want to see Penn Trafford taking this one too early. Burb with the shot on goal up in the air. It's a little bit too high off the top backboard. It's going to be followed up, though, by the PT Cruiser, getting one on the board just shy of a minute.
Yeah, again, coming out, quick work. We talked about them kind of buying some time here. Nearly a minute has expired, but nonetheless, that relentless attack here from Penn Trafford. And I think that's why they need to get Nightmare a little more active. The pressure from Penn Trafford has been a little too much, and they don't have that third man kind of keeping that ball in possession.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if part of what happened in the first minute that led to nothing happening, which in a good sense for Winberg, is they were definitely a little bit more aggressive. And honestly, that goal, it got through a defense. It wasn't wide open. It wasn't anything they got away with. So I think this Windber team can definitely make it happen. Pluto up in the air, dropping this one down over Burb. Oh, this is beautiful coming in. Triple deking the defense as Pluto shows us how to do it. That was pretty.
That was just dirty. Great job by Pluto making the plays happen. They could certainly use a little more of that. Again, I noticed though, even when the ball was all the way down there, Nightmare not even cheating to midfield, still just kind of staying in that goal. Only 4 points for Nightmare as well. And they haven't done a good job of getting them involved. If they continue this out, they could see a similar outcome to game one.
Yeah, did you see Nightmare cheating up on the sidewall, though, to get this clear as we see the PT Cruiser fighting in the corner with Nikki, challenged here by Pluto. Sends it into the center for mid. Double commit defense is going to put up the wall and stop this drive. Sends the clear into the side. Pluto sending it off to the corner. It's going to be a nice attempt, but they are going to have to retreat back on defense. I am not seeing anyone in goal for Windber. That tells me the offense is going strong. Pluto up in the air with the redirect. It's going to be a little bit shy. Nikki with the shot off the top of the goal. Also a little bit too far. PT Cruiser now moving downfield. Windber has turned up the heat. This is a different team.
Yeah, you can still see in the background, though, Nightmare just sitting in that goal right there is a perfect example, not coming out at all. And again, it just makes it that much more difficult. And you can see when Penn Trafford comes on the counterattack, they're not afraid to get anybody out of the goal. They know that this team's kind of sitting down here, being a little more defensive. And unless Pluto can continue to make these sweet plays happen, again, it's going to be a tough battle for Wimber.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on Pluto and on Nikki to be in multiple places at the same time. Shots just a little bit too high. It does set Pluto up for a 1v1 up against Burb. Burb gets the better of it, sends it off into the sidewall, pulling it off the top of the ceiling. Can't get one into the key, which would have been a nice little drive from Penn Trafford. They are still tied up in this game. This doesn't look anything like the Penn Trafford of the 6-1 victory in game one. Windber has definitely put them on their stops. They put some speed bumps all over the place.
Yeah, a little bit of a miscommunication here as well. Pluto bumping into Nikki. The ball's going to be taken away. Nightmare on that clear. Looks to get it on out. Will carry for more. Nice little bump as well to create some pressure, but mid here. Touches across mid. Burb's waiting, fires the defense here this time for Windber, though. See if they can find the counterattack. Pluto off the backboard. Not enough boost to keep it going, however. And now PT on the counterattack. Finds the pinch down in the corner. Nightmare. Stone into that net. Will find the save and the counter clear. But again, all tied up 1-1. You nailed it. A much, much different game than that first one.
Yeah, beautiful challenges, too, from Windber. Not being afraid, knowing, I guess when you know that goal, it makes your secondary defense feel a little bit more confident for the 50-50, but just like that, the PT Cruiser comes screaming in to get another one on the board for Penn Trafford. Ooh. Nicely played, just able to curl around past themselves. 2 in the goal, though, for Windber, and they're still not able to stall that one out. So a minute left on the clock. Windber is going to have to turn something up if they're going to change things. Pluto coming around. Nikki is tried to get one in the aerial there. Nightmare clearing this one from the back. So Windber is a little bit back-footed, and that's going to do it for mid. Oh, 2 up now. Penn Trafford is looking pretty good. This is the Penn Trafford of game one.
Yeah, consistency being key. We talk about it time and time again. And I just feel like with Nightmare always being that designated goalie over time, you're going to see things like this happen more and more. And I think they, maybe just need to give it a little go. Just, what do you got to lose? Give it a little confidence. Tell Nightmare to get out there and see if you can create some plays or some opportunities for these talented players like Pluto as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, it just opens up the field when anybody gets on offense. They have so much room to play with when they're not being challenged at that front quarter, that penalty kick kind of spot. They get to dictate how the play goes. Nightmare moving back into defense as Burb is going to try and bring this one down. Nikki, though, catching this one, sending it up into the air. Where's Pluto? Trying to see if they're going to try and carry this one, sending it over into the side. So Windber, 17 seconds left. Pluto on the drive, challenges Burb. Burb there doesn't feel any fear being up by 2 to challenge that 50-50.
Pluto has great aerial control. He's doing a phenomenal job, but again, just not quite able to find the back of the net here. It's been all Penn Trafford as far as the majority of possession goes, or at least it certainly feels that way. I know we have the stats coming up here in a moment, but again, with Nightmare just being kind of stuck in that goal, it seems like it's tough for them to really get the plays they need to.
Yeah, I mean, but look at this stat. PT Cruiser is the player of the game for that one for sure. 57 touches, taking it away. A beautiful play, 2 goals. So Penn Trafford, looking really clean, having that space to play, and Pluto trying to carry this one with Nicky, just not enough forward momentum. They've got to move up a little bit more. Winbur's got to get some more offense going on to open up this field, because right now Penn Trafford has so much more room to play with.
Yeah, because if you look at the stats, right, Penn Trafford possession just a little bit more, boost consumption only a little bit more as well, and really the touches are very similar for all the players except Nightmare. 11 touches stuck in that goal. They've got to find a way to get Nightmare more involved, and I feel like if they can do that, then they can find themselves winning some of these games in the series.
Yeah, it's close. You look at the stats and it's not very far off. And even though 3-1, 6-1, but when you break it down how that came about, it wasn't because of possession of the field. It wasn't because they had so much boost. It was just tiny little numbers, right? And if you change a little bit of those things, then I mean, Winburg could really make some headway against this Penn Trafford team. And it's little incremental changes that they could do. And they've got the skill. When we see Nicky and when we see moving forward on this offensive drive, Pluto and Nicky combined, they can really do something, but they're up against 3. So they're always down a little bit. And the question is going to be is like, can they change that up? Because I think this Winburg team is actually quite talented. They just need to push it up the field a little bit more, and I think they can do it.
Yeah, Nicky's great at setting up Pluto. Pluto has great aerial control as well. And even if maybe Nightmare's not as confident in their shooting ability, what's to say they can't get up there and maybe put a demo or a bump on that player sitting in goal. So there's other things that Nightmare could essentially do to be a little more of an asset as well. But they got to allow him to do that as well. They got to allow him to come out of that net and provide a little more for the team.
Yeah, and even if you can't make the shots, that's fine. You're still a car in traffic, and that can be enough to cause some chaos and some mayhem that this team has to play around with. As we do see Nightmare coming out, sending this one a nice little clear, sends it away from the center of the field, having to rotate back on the goal defense side. Burb, though, is going to be flying high, or Rye, flying high, trying to get this one down. Penn Trafford is definitely on offense here, relentless. We've seen it work before. Will it happen again? PT Cruiser now curling around, picking up that 100 boost pad, curling around and misses. They can't break this defense. This Winburg, when they're on, they're on.
Yeah, again, just being relentless here. Nightmare in that goal, and all these shots coming in the wayside here, trying to find a little bit of help as they're able to find the clear, now pressuring in the other direction, but Burb there waiting, a nice booming touch, looks to carry over, settles on top, looks for the flick, no, drops down, now pressure more, 50 in their favor as well. Rye up top, Nicky's there first, and Pluto looks to bang this one back. Nightmare trying to get back, but just not enough time and not enough speed. Burb sees this one from a distance and capitalizes.
Yeah, Nightmare gets stuck in the gravity well. That is the side post trying to get over. And it pays dividends for Penn Trafford. 1.5 minutes is what it took to get one on the board, but they do it in nice fashion as they send this kickoff right to Nicky. Nicky misses a little bit trying to get that clear. Nightmare moving into position. Pluto as well in forward defense. Gets the challenge. It's looking pretty good against Rye, but they are able to bring it back. So Winburg is curling over onto defense, trying to get this one cleared, but they can't just rely on Pluto and Nicky. I've seen Nightmare get out and make these challenges. I want to see him do it more.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that they come back and watch some of this footage as well and find ways to get Nightmare more involved, because too many times we see Nicky and Pluto all the way up here on the other side of the field, and way in the background you can see Nightmare just kind of hanging out in the goal. Obviously, those are times when that can work, but more so generally when you gain that initial lead as well. So, I feel like this Winburg team is very talented. They certainly can find wins on the season, but they have to find a way to get Nightmare more involved if they want to do so.
Yeah, as we see Pluto coming in with the cross clear, which is a good defensive play because you've got the momentum to send the ball sailing. Brings it back around to the other side of the pitch. Challenged. The 50-50 pinch sends it over to Nightmare. Nightmare gets it clear up past the 50. I love to see it. The goal is going to be just shy. Great attempt, and I hope that's the confidence they need and feel to get back out there because that was so close.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just as we mention it, we see it there firsthand. And, I feel like Nightmare doesn't get that many opportunities because we saw the nice shot on goal, but then he touched it a secondary time when realistically you're looking for a teammate there or maybe a small pass back. So again, maybe just a little more experience there, allowing him to come out and create some of those plays for Pluto or Nikki, again, could go a long way. Wimber could find themselves, getting that equalizer or maybe putting themselves on top here in this tough battle versus Penn Trafford.
Yeah, indeed. Sitting back, letting Rye get the time they need and the space they need on the drive. Nightmare is going to challenge, and they're going to win it. Nikki sends this one up to the side. 2 blue in the corner. It's going to open up a nice little patch for Pluto. Nobody in goal right now. Can Nikki curl around? They could use that third car, sending this one up and down. Rye is going to block it. Now we've got Nightmare. Pluto coming back to rotate on defense. And the drive is going to move into Penn Trafford. But there's only a minute and 20 seconds left as the shot goes in, and Rye takes advantage of all that traffic.
Yeah, the cars should almost always be in motion. And we're just, I hate to be too hard on them. But again, they've got Nightmare just sitting in that net. And, they're going to suffer from that time and time again if they can't find a way to get them out there, get them active. So hopefully they can get things kind of corrected and maybe learn a little bit here today. But it's certainly very, very tough because it's virtually a 2-on-3 even when they're on the attack.
Yeah, and Nikki and Pluto are putting in some serious work. And, we see the saves coming out of Nightmare, and not as much this game, but we've seen them across the board. And so that does feel good when you get those points on the board. You say, hey, I'm pretty good in defense. But you play against some of these teams that have just a little bit more, and you need to put out just a little bit more. We do see Pluto on the drive, Burb and the PT Cruiser coming up to match with Rye. The drive is coming in 2-0, looking good for Penn Trafford with 40 seconds left.
Yeah, and I think Penn Trafford's kind of picked up on what's going on with Nightmare as well. We just saw PT Cruiser for the second time go down to the other end and demo the goalie just sitting there. So you got to be careful as well because it makes that demo a little bit more easy as well. Burb fires one. Nightmare is going to find the save here, though, but the pressure is relentless. PT Cruiser looking to curl around, keep this one on. There's the flick over the head just to the right. There's the teammate, not enough, and Rye coming in over the head of Nightmare again, just kind of stuck sitting in that goal. It makes it difficult. There's no momentum, changing of direction as well. And now 3-0 most certainly has to be the nail in the coffin for Penn Trafford.
Yeah, just trying to judge that jump, trying to judge that block, and not able to get it in time with 12 seconds on the clock. That's more than likely going to do it as Penn Trafford looking pretty good, but, not a blowout by any standards. If you kind of look at the teams themselves, just some minor mistakes here and there that Wimber just let Penn Trafford come through and take the W on that one. But I mean, you take a look at these stats. Rye this time with the MVP getting some nice demo numbers up there, and the goals and the saves looking very, very good. Like second time we've seen our touches be in the second place, so it's always good to see everybody getting a little bit on the board. But again, looking at these boost consumption, field domination, ball possession and boost, relatively even, if you will. So just a little bit here and there, and Penn Trafford is able to eke out a win. And eke out a 3-0 win. But
and again, Nightmare, 11 touches, only 11 for the second game in a row. And in that first one, I think maybe 13. So it's really just about having a third player on the field who isn't that active. And, to no fault of Nightmare, it's obviously a strategy that they're wanting to run. They're wanting to have that one in the goal. It seems to be the game plan. But at this point, I would look to experiment a little bit because we saw some great pressure from Nightmare. We saw a couple times when he did push out of that net and find some good plays. It didn't always result in a goal, but it was creating more opportunities. So I think that's something they certainly need to look into. But Penn Trafford able to take it, the final game of the day here tonight. So Penn Trafford will go up 2-1 on the season as Wimber falls to 0-3, but still plenty of weeks left here in this season. And again, I'm really excited to see Forest Hills go up against Greater Altoona. I saw someone mentioned in chat that Pig B player, a top 100 player in the world.
wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have some matchups that are going to start working their way into the second half of the season that I think, as we see, this matchup was very, very good. We could see some possibilities out of Winberg coming up and learning and getting better and better. But also we've got the top of the division where there's a lot of talent, and it'll be very exciting to watch those teams play off against each other. So still, like you said, plenty of weeks left, plus a playoffs for these teams to learn from the matches that they've played, to get better as they grow. And I mean, top 100 in the world. I mean, at the same time, you're playing in a league and in a division where you get to play up against some of the best, which only makes you better. So I love watching it, and it's great for them to play it. So week 3, I mean, a really great night. We had some serious talent on the pitch and some really close games. OT game 5, just a wonderful day for Rocket.
Yeah, just a truly great day. Hats off to all the teams as well, guys. Make sure you follow Tech High School Series as well, and the sister channel, always bringing some great Valorant action, some great Rocket League action, plenty of stuff for anybody here. So we hope that you'll give them a follow as well. On behalf of Tech High School Series, myself and Panda, it's certainly been a phenomenal time. We hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.